I'm in second place and you passed me. What place are you in?
First.
First place.
Yes.
I'm in second place and you passed me. Well, how would you be in first place?
Because I passed you. I passed you, so I'm in first.
I'm in second place, though.
Congratulations. Now I'm in first because I passed you. I passed you. Are we running? Are we driving? It doesn't matter. I passed you. I'm in first.
Good evening, everybody. Hey, I want to remind everybody, make sure you guys like the stream, share the stream, support the stream through Cash App, Super Chat, Super Thanks if you're catching the replay. So this is a part 2 of what we checked out earlier. This is Bree Speaks, and this is titled that Bree Speaks divorced her perfect husband, because that's exactly what she titles her video as. Okay? And she explains exactly why she did that. Now, as far as part 1 is concerned, she explained how she was in an off and on relationship with her quote unquote baby daddy. You know what I'm saying? That's who she was in a relationship with. She explained that her baby daddy was a narcissist. So she split with him, met a new man online. You know, he proposed to her, but then he broke the marriage off, or he broke the wedding off, and then she ended up getting back with her baby daddy, but that didn't quite work out. And then the other guy came back, and he ended up marrying her, and then now she wanted a divorce from the new dude. Okay, but everybody's a narcissist except her. So we're gonna go back into that. Now, she explained a few things, but pretty much she explained why she is not ready for marriage, or why marriage with this particular man is not good for her. She also explains why this man really has no real flaws. You know, I mean, of course, as human beings, we all have flaws, but this man that she speaks on really didn't have too many that a woman would trip on. I know she didn't really trip on any of them. She was just like, why it didn't work for her. So I'm just going to pick this up and you guys can assess what it is that she said. And shout out to Big Brenda Clark with the shit, who actually brought me or sent me this video. And we did a review on her channel. If you want to watch the full review, make sure you subscribe to Big Brenda Clark. But Check this out.
Every day or every other day. And then after, well, like during dinner, we would typically, you know, watch TV while we ate dinner. Sometimes we would just talk, you know, nothing like, you know, then like that's not a problem. But I often, again, I only been married and living with someone. Well, I had lived with my son's dad before. I had lived a married life before. I thought I wasn't married, but I lived a married life as the housekeeper, the mom, the maid. But I thought that I was so miserable in those relationships because it was such a high control environment, because I was in a relationship with a narcissist, because I was enslaved and I wasn't treated well. And so I assumed that my disdain for being controlled came from being with someone who was so controlling and didn't contribute anything. They just took, suck, but then never gave or poured into me. And so I assumed I was looking for that, a partner, someone who would give as much as they would take. And my husband is that. Like, he's a clean person. He does the cleaning while I did the cooking. He's just so attentive to my needs. So
now notice she said that. She said he would do the cleaning while she did the cooking. All right. Now, earlier, if you guys didn't see part 1, she explained why, you know, how she lost her job, she didn't work anymore, and, you know, her issues in the marriage were it just felt too much like patriarchy. She didn't like the fact that, hey, he wants to spend quality time with his wife when he gets off of work, since he's the one paying the bills. And this was the case after she lost her job. Now, why did she lose her job? She explained that she had a job that was kind of like a sales job. Hey, May, shout out to May, by the way. We can get into that. Matter of fact, I'm going to drop the link at this moment. I'm going to drop it for May and May only. If you want to come up and break this down with me, I would love to hear anything that you have. Now, this one is for May. I'm gonna let May come up. Okay. If you want to come up and you're still unclear about why she left him, because she still doesn't explain it yet in this video, but she will explain it later on. She will explain it, but I'm gonna keep it real with you. She really don't have a reason why. But at the same time, she still does have a reason why. And that is that, look, he had a lot of structure. You know, he had a lot of order. He had a lot of discipline. And she didn't like that. That's just my take on it. So when May gets up here, you know, I'm going to explain, or I'm going to make sure that she's pretty clear on what's going on here, because Bree Speaks, man, bro, she's wild. But believe it or not, I give a shout out to Bree Speaks, because at least she's being honest about her situation, and that allows you to gauge just the thought process of people. You know, when you can understand that, look, people don't always understand like why they do shit. A lot of people just do shit. Like, they do shit, and then they just end up in certain situations. They're like, oh, how did I get here? What up, May?
Hey, what's going on? Great show. I called it earlier. Great show.
No, thank you. I didn't even get through much. I'm only 27 minutes into this hour and a half long video. So she's going to explain a lot more. And again, shout out to Big Brenda Clark, who messaged me, you know, when she wanted to break this down, and we gave a full review on it, you know, over on her channel. But I said I would do it over here, and I would. But like, what are you vague on now? And I'll try to explain where we are now, and we'll pick it up from here.
Yeah, so I'm listening to her, and I don't hear he crossed this line. He did this wrong. We agreed to this, and he did the opposite. He broke a vow. I'm not hearing substance. I'm just not hearing it. Then I hear her saying good stuff about him. He was sharing the chores. He was understanding. He was supportive. I'm not hearing it. I don't understand.
All right. So I'm going to put this on full screen so you can see it. The entire title of this video, if you can see in the top right hand corner or left hand corner, I divorced my perfect husband. You're not seeing that because she didn't state anything like that. She hasn't stated any real flaws that the man had. Now she's going to state what she saw as some flaws. She mentioned that she has issues with what's considered quote unquote patriarchy. But she at this point, 27 minutes into the video, she's only talked about the way, she's like, he's got, structure, she's just lost her job. He's able to do the providing. He's a good example for her son that she had from a previous relationship, as far as what she used the term a male in society is, what's expected of a male in society. She said that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. She hasn't mentioned anything like that. So you didn't just miss it. She hasn't stated anything like that.
Okay. And one more
Yeah.
question. Now, how old is she?
Now this is just my guess on it. I think she mentions it a little later on in the video, but I would guess that she's in her early to mid 30s.
Okay, gotcha.
But we'll listen to a little bit more. I'll try to back it up. I'll back it up just a little bit.
TikTok was I was on my phone doing nothing or doing something invaluable or like wasting time or doom scrolling. And even when I told him that this is me responding to comments, this is me ensuring my engagement is high, this is me, trying to build a foundation. I don't know if he didn't like believe me or if he's I feel like he believed me, but I know that, which we talked about, like putting more structure around my content creation time, because he didn't want, essentially, like when he comes home, he wants to spend time with me. And that's not a bad thing. And it's like, why can't you do it earlier? And it's like, sometimes I do it earlier, but a lot of times, because on TikTok, you have to post 3 times a day in order for your account to actually be an account that they push out. I would post, a long story short, it's like I would post right before he got home. And so when he got home, I was getting a lot of comments. And so I would be responding to them pretty often. Because everyone else is also getting home, and so they're seeing my video and they're responding. So even when I put structured around time, it's just that's another thing. It's like I didn't like it. I didn't love it. I didn't love having to structure my time in order to have quality time, or like in order to fit someone else's life or lifestyle.
Okay. Now, you hear me? I just backed it up a little bit. I showed this on the video earlier. Shout out to Sugar Plum. I see you. What up, Bridget M? Of course, we got May the Alchemist up here, as well as Trinity Time Travels, who's always first, and Daniel Berry, sports highlights. But you see what's up, May. She said she didn't like, after she lost her job, that she realized was a sales job after she had it. After she lost her job, she wanted to be a full-time TikToker or YouTuber. And she didn't like having to structure her time around a marriage and a family and a household. Those are her words, not mine. You're on mute, May, if you didn't know. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. What I was thinking is just what she said. Just look at what she just said a second ago. She said that she didn't have time to spend quality time. It's kind of like it was in her way. I think that's kind of selfish. Um, and what came to my mind is you got a person who it has to be. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. I'm sorry. I got this call screening on, and I didn't know if it interrupted the call.
I can hear you
But
just fine.
okay, great. So what I'm thinking is she was one of those women who wanted a wedding. She didn't really want the man. She wanted a stepfather and maybe somebody to pay the bills. I don't think she really sees dude as a whole person. That's what I think.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I'm actually going to do a part 3 to this. We're going to finish this video right here, and I'm going to do a part 3 because there was another review that I saw of this video that that I think is pretty cool. It's from a woman, I believe it's a married woman as well, that pretty much had, at least the same sentiments that you have thus far. I don't know if you saw this video. I should have put the link in the description so you guys could check it out. But this is wild. This woman, quote unquote, divorced her perfect husband. I don't think anybody's perfect. So I'm pretty sure this dude had his flaws just like every other human being does. But, this is just wild when she has her reasoning for ending a marriage. It's like, should you have even been married in the first place? Let's listen to
So,
it.
Yeah.
Here we go. And so now I'm a stay-at-home wife, which is what I thought I wanted. I have this time in the day to do what I want, and I'm doing what I want, but it still has constraints around it, especially after a certain time. I have to cook dinner every day or every other day. And then during dinner, we would typically, watch TV while we ate dinner. Sometimes we would just talk, nothing like, that's not a problem. But I only been married and living with someone. Well, I had lived with my son's dad before. I had lived a married life before. I wasn't married, but I lived a married life as the housekeeper, the mom, the maid. But I thought that I was so miserable in those relationships because it was such a high control environment, because I was in a relationship with a narcissist, because I was enslaved and I wasn't treated well. And so I assumed that my disdain for being controlled came from being with someone who was so controlling and didn't contribute anything. They just took, suck, but they never gave or poured into me. And so I assumed I was looking for that, a partner, someone who would give as much as they would take. And my husband is that. Like, he's a clean person. He does the cleaning while I did the cooking. He's just so attentive to my needs, so empathetic, just like a kind, sweet person. And he is still a man raised under the patriarchy. That's one. And then he is still a partner who expects things from you. That is two. So I would say the two biggest things that caused me to end up asking for a divorce from my best friend and the love of my life were those. So starting with the patriarchy.
All right. Before we go into her reasoning, she pretty much just explained why she asked him for a divorce.
I missed it. I still missed it. I missed it. I didn't get it.
I'm gonna play her explaining it, but she really did just sum it up. Because I've seen this before. I've seen this video already. She just kind of summed it up as far as why she asked him for a divorce. And she's like, look, he was raised in the patriarchy. That's what she sees it as. And it just didn't feel like a comfortable situation for her. Even though he was attentive to her needs, he seems like a good person. Like, he seems like the ideal husband. But, the fact that this whole Black woman subscribing to patriarchy is just can't get down with that.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, the only thing about that, though, Auntie, is that she want to sign up for some parts of the patriarchy, but then she want to throw the parts that she don't want away. And that's the thing that a lot of women, especially married women, you gotta learn to deal with. First and foremost, marriage itself is an institution of patriarchy. If we're honest, it really is. The whole ritual of it, the concept of marriage is patriarchal. So the fact that she signed up for a marriage, I mean, she can call it partnership or whatever she want to call it, but essentially you signed up for patriarchy, and you got to take all the parts of it. Now, I'm not saying sign up for abuse, control, manipulation. I'm not saying you sign up for that, but the order, listening to somebody else's opinion. She talks about him being controlling. Is he controlling, or he expects accountability? Like, don't just go out and do stuff without talking to me first. That's kind of normal in most marriages. You get a conversation before you make decisions. That doesn't mean, somebody's controlling. Those are agreements. So it sounds
Mhm.
like she wants somebody to just cater to everything she needs. And I mean, I'm not trying to judge the sister too hard, but that's what I'm hearing. It's me, me, me. And she talks about how he pours into her, does this for her. Patriarchy is also taking care of that son. That's not his.
Mhm.
Providing, allowing her to be a stay at home mom. All that's patriarchy. So you can't just pick and choose, what you want to sign up for. If you sign up for a marriage, even if it's kind of equal, so she seems like she don't. She also sounds to me like she went to a liberal school like my own, and we get all these buzzwords: feminism, control, patriarchy, intersectionality. She's talking from talking points. That's what I see.
That's what I see. You were listening earlier where I said I was like, I think she's kind of got an addiction to social media, and I think she's kind of subscribed, and she's gonna mention that too a little bit, where she kind of just subscribed to a lot of like the talking points from other social media figures that might have a large following or something like that. And it's like, look, a lot of these just because you got a microphone and a damn social media account and a bunch of followers don't mean you know what the fuck you're talking about. Like seriously. And as far as she's concerned, I'm like the patriarchy. I'm like I don't even see how that's bad for you because that's the only reason why you able to survive right now. You ain't
That's
got no
what
damn job.
patriarchy got her. Patriarchy got her eating. What the hell she mean? And she
Man,
probably
I'm like,
got
you ain't got no job.
right. And
You
this
just got a
man,
father in the house. Like you got a man that's not just taking care of you, but you also said is I could even understand if you said, okay, yeah, you're able to provide for me, but you're not attentive to my needs, and I'm just feeling all fucked up, with you. I might not agree, but I would still understand. She's not even saying that. Like she's just like, look, he's attentive to my needs. He's doing all of this. He's a good example for my son. He's
right?
providing, structure, order. She's like he keeps his word. All of those things. And her issue is just, hey, she can't deal with that. She don't give a fuck if it makes sense or not. Like it just don't feel right. You know, it don't feel right.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. And
Yeah.
and another thing is she sounds like she's living for like the internet. And that's more important. That's her priority. This
Mhm.
whole internet thing. And I'm even wondering, like this guy's probably so nice that when she decided to divorce him, he probably is paying spousal support. He probably, you know what I mean? He's probably paying child support on the kid
They
that's not
weren't
his.
married. They weren't married for a full year. At this
Oh,
point, when she's doing this video, they were married for about 10 months. So they weren't even married for a full year.
damn.
I'm
She didn't
not
even give it a
sure how
chance.
far. I'm not sure how far spousal support, would go. But I don't think it would go very far
Well, I
because
mean,
she
she could argue that she doesn't have an income.
about 2 months of the marriage. Um,
So what?
so yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough to get any time. I mean, unless you're in the state of California, and even in California, it'd be pretty tough to get any type of spousal support out of that.
But when you get something though, if you don't have a job, you have no income, and you've been married, and part of that marriage, even though it's short, you were stay at home. You don't think you would qualify for some type of spousal support?
It'd be tough without any proof of infidelity or you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Alien
right.
affection, infidelity, something like that. But I will give a spoiler alert with this. Of course, she filed for divorce. She takes the child back to her child's father, and she moves in with her father. She's pretty much done with it. So I don't really see any type of spousal support. Like that'll be tough for
Oh, okay.
when it comes to this,
I
right
wonder
here.
what her daddy said. I wonder what her daddy's advice or thoughts were. I'm curious about that. I know I wouldn't know, but I would be interested because if I was a man, I guess, and my daughter was coming back home, and it was a decent man, I'd be like, "What you doing? What is this? You too damn old. Like, work your shit out." I wouldn't send her back, but I'd be like, "You might need to call dude and work that out. You don't walk away first sign of trouble. You can't stay married like that." But maybe she just ain't marriage material. I don't know.
Yeah, I gave the spoiler alert. That we actually find out in like part 2 of this video. But yeah, she ends up moving back in with her father and taking her son back from a previous relationship, back to his father. So basically, and she's going to explain in this video here that she really would prefer to just live the single life. And I mean, like fully single, because I don't believe even a single mother is truly single because you got a child. But yeah, she wants to live the single life with no kids. Like fuck that, take that kid back with his father. No,
Yeah, she's really selfish. She's
yeah,
very selfish.
If you follow me on TikTok, you've probably heard me mention a couple of my most viral videos have come from me talking to my husband about patriarchy and racism and explaining how they're the same, as I do on my channel all the time. And there were, just a lot of instances of him not seeing it. He believes that, not all men suck, which not all men suck. He's one of the men, he don't suck. But that is not as bad as women claim it to be. He feels like, that most men are good and that you have to find the right one. Essentially like that. It's just like most men are good and the men that you find that are not good are just, you found the wrong man. Like, I listen to a lot of what is her name? Sovereign Queen, I think, on TikTok. And she's an ex-stripper. She just, she talks about the dark side of men a lot. And I showed him some of her videos, and the long story short is he feels like her point of view is skewed because she only gets men who come like into the strip club. And so those men are going to be the ones cheating on their wives, or those are going to be the ones who, see women as objects and all these things. But I'm like, while that can't, because, he doesn't go to the strip club that I know of. Hey, nah, he doesn't. But while the men who actually do go into strip clubs are a very specific sample of men, they are still a sample of men. And so it's like they are still representative of a large portion of men, like, or of a significant portion of men.
What's wrong with her? What's wrong with her?
and
She
I'm like, look,
demonizing the strip club. Are you serious? As a wife, the strip club is your best friend. What do you mean?
yeah, but I'm just like, look, you're over here subscribing to the social media channel or page of an ex stripper. That's not you. What up, Alonzo? And shout out to Coach Ferg too. But like that's not you. That's not your situation. So when she's talking about this Sovereign Queen chick that's an ex stripper and talking about, look, men only want this and all of that other stuff, like that's not your dude. He finishes work and he just wants to come home and clean up while you cook, after you cook. Or he said he'll do the cooking while if you do the dishes or whatever. He just wants to spend quality time with his woman. So I mean that's not the case. So even if that were the rule, like you got the exception to the rule. Even though, look, let's keep it real, that's not the rule. Those dudes that sit in strip clubs all of the time, which I mean a lot of dudes do it. I've been there. Those dudes that really don't like their fucking wives, man. Let's just keep it real. They don't like their wives. They don't like their
I don't,
situation.
no. That's not what it is. I live in Atlanta. We got a strip club culture. So the wives be tipping the bitches too. Atlanta's different, So
I
a lot
would
of men
agree
take
with
their wife to the strip club. Say what?
now. I would agree with that. I've been to the strip club with my exes before, and sometimes it can get like that. But she's talking. I think she's talking about dudes that come in there and they're looking for an escape and a getaway. But I'm just like, you don't have that situation. So why are you speaking
Worried
on
about
that
it.
at all?
Right. Right. She just sounds to me like somebody who I'm even wondering if she's gonna turn 40 and just be like a lesbian. I'm starting to get that vibe from her. Like she'll just have a revelation one day. I think I'm gay. she don't sound like she even likes men. She has like a natural distrust, and she's got a father she can go back to. So he's not clearly a a bad father. So I don't know where she gets this negative. Do you get the vibe that she's like feeling negative towards men?
Yes, I do. And not only not even because of her own experience. Like she tried to use the term narcissist to really describe every the other guys, the her child's father, for example. But like I say, I gave the spoiler. When she said that was her ex, she's like he was a narcissist and he was fucked up. But I'm like, how fucked up could he be when you brought that child back to him? Yeah, and thought that that the child would be in a better situation being raised by him than you. How
I'm
narcissistic could he be?
right, right. That's true.
So
Yeah.
I'm just like there are a lot of fingers being pointed elsewhere, but very few being pointed at her. But I still do give her a shout out for at least being honest and allowing us to be able to hear her train of thought, because I think she's legit just thinking out loud, and it just shows that she really doesn't have her thoughts together.
Yeah. And I think she's young and she kind of some things in life are kind of permanent. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be careful when you make decisions and be really thoughtful because you're not just affecting you, you're affecting other people too.
Mhm.
And I think she's made a lot of decisions that affect other people. When you're young and dumb and this is you by yourself, you can just do whatever. But once you get married and you're having kids and baby daddies and stuff, you complicating other people's lives. You're weaving something complex into the fabric of their life that they can't necessarily remove. That man will now always have been a divorcee when that was never his intention, you know. And that's the
Yeah.
worst thing when you got married for life and you got to tell people, yeah, I'm divorced and you never had that intention. So she's affecting his life, and then she's affecting his life because you took the son. Who knows how close he was to the son, you know? And not only did you
Mhm.
take the son, he don't even have access to the son through you because now the son is with his father. So likely a father, nigga, I'm here. What you mean? You need to come see him for what?
Mhm.
So and then that boy, he's gonna have feelings too. My mama rather be single and free and leave me with my daddy. She chose her other life over me. And then also, he just gonna feel like bounced around from here to there. So she's affecting other people with all her unable to make good choices. Yeah.
Now, I can say this much: when I was on Big Brenda's channel, doing this review, a lot of women in the chat were like, "That's a damn shame. Like that was a good dude." And now, after you putting him through this, like a lot of women were like, "Hey, you about to put damaged goods back on the market?" Like pretty
Hell
much.
yeah. Hell
Like
yeah. Yeah.
this is the type of stuff that turn good dudes into cold-hearted, nasty bastards.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Damn.
Especially if he had his guard down and he was really
Yeah.
in it to win it and he was gonna be there through thick and thin and he had his heart wide open. Yeah, he ain't gonna never open up like that again. 9 times out of 10.
If you
Fuck that.
remember when I discussed earlier, and she explained this, she said, okay, she met the dude online after she whatever split with her baby daddy or whatever. She met him, they were talking about marriage, and then he broke it off because he said something wasn't right. And then she ended up going back to her baby daddy. It didn't work out, and then she got back with him again, and then they chose to make it official, tie the knot. Um, so I mean, at the same time, he can't really put everything on her. You kind of, you are kind of making some bad decisions, and on top of that, you're going against your own intuition. Because something
Yeah.
told you in the first place this wasn't the right person. Now,
Yeah.
I can also understand from the perspective of look, because she explained this. She's like, look, I can be impulsive. I'm a little disorganized. I got like ADHD, and then she said like he came with structure, order. He's not impulsive, and he keeps up with his word, and he's reliable. Like she really didn't have anything bad to say about this dude. So maybe
Hmm.
he felt like, look, this is the balance that she needs in her life. I can
Yeah.
provide. But what I was saying earlier, I'm like, look, if somebody doesn't want that, you can't give it to them.
I agree with you, and I think again, it's just like the patriarchy thing. You want structure, but you wanna be able to pick and choose when you get structure. And he's like, "This is structure," and she's like, "No, I don't feel like structure." You got to make your damn mind up. What do you want? And when we say structure, I don't want people to think like telling somebody you must do this, you must do that. I think structure is just kind of saying, okay, before we leap, let's look. You know,
Mhm.
let's think about this. Let's not invest in another
Yeah,
what do you call it, multi-level marketing, get rich quick scheme. Let's think about this. I think that's what my guess is. That's the kind
yeah,
of structure
that's
he
all.
provides.
Yeah, that I agree with you 100%, mate. That's what structure is. Structure isn't about control or telling somebody what they will and what they want, what they can and what they can't do. It's about saying, look, this is what we will do. This is what we won't do. This is our goal. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much this is the box we fall into. You
Right.
know, and we can't veer off of it because then we're no longer us. That's really what structure is about. You know, just pretty much just having a basic pretty much a set of boundaries as far as like, look, this is what we will and what we won't do, and what we won't allow, what I won't allow, what you won't allow. This is as far as it's gonna go. So that's structure. You know, so I didn't think it was a problem with him just saying, like, look, you can do your TikTok thing, you can do your YouTube thing, but when I get off work, like, I want to spend some time with my boo. I want to spend some time with my woman. You know? Like, don't forget that you're still a wife, you're still a mother.
Yeah, and
Regardless.
especially if that shit ain't paying no bills. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
If that shit ain't paying no bills, you're gonna need to prioritize the relationship, especially because, what are we doing here? You're not you
No,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? He's taking on extra.
until it becomes a source of income, it's still a hobby. And that's
Right.
what I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, it's a hobby until it becomes a source of income. And until it becomes a source of income, yeah, you're gonna have to find a way to juggle it with everything else that you've already signed up for. You know, being a wife, being a mother, taking and it's more than just being a wife and a mother. Like, we got things that need to be done in the household. Like, we gotta eat. The house has to be clean. Like, there's still structure that we got going on so that way things don't fall apart. So you gotta just keep in mind, like, that stuff. And that should go without saying, whether you was doing YouTube and TikTok or not. Like, this is supposed to happen no matter what. You know,
Nah,
no matter
nah, see, Auntie, these mugs then they got it mixed up because that soft life era shit came out, you know, and a lot of women got soft life in their mind, and when they think of it, they don't want to think of like the 1950s mom, cooking, cleaning. They don't want to think of none of that. Taking care of the house, gardening, this, that, decorating. They don't want to think about none of that stuff. That is just stuff that's in the way of them living their best life. That's how a lot of women are looking at stay at home.
that
You
you
know,
said earlier, if you guys are just tuning in, and make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App notification bell, but also and super chat too. But she mentioned it, she lost her job. And look, when I was doing the review with Big Brenda, you guys can check that out. That was the first thing I noticed. I'm like, you talking about you got a job, a sales job, and you didn't know it was a sales job? Like, that's pretty obvious. I mean, if there are requirements of you and numbers you got to hit, like, that's what you got to hit. But basically, when she lost it, hey, he's able to take care of everything, right there. So, I mean, I'm not saying you owe the dude anything for that, but at the same time, it's like, how can you really trip about patriarchy when you made a rash decision? You took a sales job when you're not a salesperson. You couldn't keep the damn job, but yet you still have a roof over your head. You see what I'm saying? There's still
yeah.
food in the refrigerator to cook and all of that. Like, you know, the
She's
patriarchy is
taking
food on your table and a roof over your head. Like, how you gonna hate on it?
she's taking for granted what it takes to have a household, what it takes to survive. She's
Which
definitely
is
taking that for
a
granted.
patriarchal thing. It's what I'm saying? Pretty much just a structure and order thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not uncommon for a man to go to the strip club at least once in his life, you know? So these women who are in the strip clubs every day, they get to interact with all kinds of men. They get to interact with men who are there every day or every night or every weekend, all the way to they get to interact with a man who's only there because his bros forced him to go at his bachelor party. And so they will meet all of these men and they are able to make assessments based on all of those interactions. And then, mind you, these women are not only meeting men in strip clubs. These women are still women who go outside on a regular basis with regular clothes on. And so they still interact with your everyday man. So not only do they have the knowledge of what every other woman would have knowledge of, they have that. And they have this knowledge of working with men in the most clear and transparent way that a woman can work with a man. And it's just like, the pretense is gone. There's no romance. There's no getting like you, getting to know you. There's none of that. It's just like, I'm here for what I'm here for. You're here to be the thing that be the service that I'm purchasing. And so we don't have to play this game. And so I argue that sex workers or women in the sex industry have the best understanding of men because of their experience. And like, again, I know people will say like, oh, that they have a skewed vision, but I'm telling you, they have a nuanced, and I feel like they have the insider scoop. I feel like they have the insider scoop.
And May can chime in on this. I don't think that they necessarily have the insider scoop, but what they do have is a man's. Now, what she's saying is she feels as though sex workers have have just like the best knowledge of how men, what their mindset is. And I'm like, I would say no. As a man, I would say this: no, they don't just have the insight on how men are. They have the insight on how the insider information on how men view sex workers. Okay, that's how they view workers. So that's all they know. So of course that's going to be their perception of men, because that's how men view them, as the sex workers that they are.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe she means to a certain extent, possibly, that those women are able to see more how men are transactional because of what they're doing, right? And those women are probably able to separate transactional situations from romance and all that other stuff. And that is something I think that is kind of flawed, especially women who get married. A lot of times, a lot of women get married, they have a lot of fantasy. Um, about what it's going to be like, and all this romantic stuff, and just a whole bunch of shit that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. People paint all that on marriage, and I think that's why a lot of people, when they say, I'm unhappy, it's because the movies, the magazines, and the Hollywood culture, they taught women to think about love, marriage, relationships a certain kind of way, mostly fantasy based. And it's pretty, I'll be honest with you, after you've been married for a while, it's pretty mundane, unless you got a crazy person in your life. But if somebody's pretty stable, after the wedding and all this stuff, it gets pretty mundane. It's washing cycles, it's cleaning up, it's cooking, having fun when you can. But you're on you're a treadmill. You both going to work. You know what I'm saying? Life is real fucking mundane mostly. Anybody who says they've been married for a long time and it's roller coasters and rainbows every day, they're lying. They're fucking lying. And people don't sign up for marriage for roller coasters and rainbows. People sign up for stability and structure.
Now, makes sense. Makes sense. And for the most part, I think that's really like her issue. Like I said, her issue is not just it's not being happy. It's just the fact that that it's a man's program that she's got to kind of fall under, and it's not even because this man's program is bad. It's just because it's a man's program. Now, look, I get it. There are a bunch of dudes out here that, hey, their program ain't worth a shit. It ain't worth a shit because them dudes don't have structure, order, they're not responsible, don't keep their word, whatever. I get that. That's just not the situation that this woman had. So I think it's
Yeah,
just falling under the umbrella of a dude. She has a problem with that.
yeah. She sounded like she thought she was gonna sign up for somebody. Like she said, I need somebody to pour into me, do for me, give to me, allow me this, and she sounds like she's in a give, give, give. Like more like she's in a take, take, take position. You give, 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 and I take, take, take. I don't hear a lot of back and forth about how we help each other, we support each other. I don't hear a lot of we in her conversation. I'm not critiquing her. I'm just listening with my, inner ear. And I think that's a missing part. Once you're married, you really, really have to be one. You know what I'm saying? You got to move as one. And she sounds like I'm going over here. You stay over there. I'm doing this. You stay over there. A lot of that.
Now I hear a lot
So
of that. I
I
hear it
wonder, can
too.
she go back to dude? Can she go back to dude? Because I don't know I don't know if she deserves to be back with him, but
As far as we know right now, no, man. She moved back in with her father, took her child back to his father, and that's it. Everybody moved back in with their daddies, her included.
damn.
Dude, like
Well,
they have.
I tell you what though, Auntie, she gonna turn 40 or a little after 40, and she gonna live a life of regret. She gonna be like, I lost a good one. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They get to see the things that men will never show to the everyday woman that they don't have pretense with. So anyways, I showed him her, and he disagreed with all the things that she said. And so because he is a man, and even though he was empathetic, even though he was sweet, even though he was kind, even though he was loving, even though he was nurturing, even though he was giving, he's still a man, like a traditional heterosexual man raised in the patriarchy. And so his emotional attunement to himself was lacking. Like it was just so interesting that he was incredibly attuned to my emotional state. Like I could feel like I'm hiding my emotions and I will say I'm a heart on your sleeve kind of gal, but I have gotten better. I have gotten better over, especially working in corporate America, of like not showing everything I feel on my face, but not with my husband. My husband knew exactly how I was feeling when I was feeling it. And if he knew when I was like, he would address it. Like he was great at reading my emotions, but when it came to his own emotions, y'all, and if he sees, I hope I not say I hope he doesn't see this video, but if he ever sees this video, I know he'll say that he is very in touch with his emotions.
Now that's what bugged me out too when I was listening to it the first time. She said, "Hey, his issue wasn't that he wasn't in tune with her emotions. She said that he wasn't in tune with his own emotions." Now, what I took from this, man, and feel free to chime in on this, but what I took from this is he understood where she was coming from, but when she tried to gaslight him and get him quote unquote out of his body, he wasn't going. Like she couldn't just make that motherfucker lose his shit, and she didn't like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think sometimes as women, we want men to be women, and we feel like they're not in tune to their emotions unless they act like us and think like us and move like us. And yeah, you're just not gonna get that. I mean, not most men. Nah, heterosexual traditional men, you're never gonna get them to behave or be emotional or responsive the way a woman is. It's just that's why I say I don't know if girlfriend really likes men, because if she's looking for a man just to be a poor imitation of a woman, then she probably need to be with a woman. Not being funny, I'm just saying men don't.
That's part of what I noticed too. I believe that she wants to be in control. Like she has a problem with just a dude just being able to make decisions that actually mean something. Even if her decisions are fucked up, she doesn't. She thinks she should still be the one making them. Um, that's what I'm noticing, and she has a problem with that. Like even though his decision may be working, they're the reason why there's still food in the fridge. There's the reason why that's the reason why there's still a roof over your head. She's like, fuck that. No, you know, like she can't subscribe to a dude having the final say so. Now, I'm not saying that should always be the case, because I know a lot of dudes in these spaces will say, look, the men are supposed to be the leaders. I understand a lot of dudes aren't even fit to fucking lead. They'll lead you
Right.
into a fucking oblivion.
Hell yeah.
That doesn't you're not fit to lead just because you're a man. But some men are. It seems like her dude was straight. He was good on that, and she just had a problem with a man leading at all. And I understand that. I've done some dating in my time, and I understand some women that just, hey, they ain't gonna have that shit from any fucking man. Doesn't matter. You can tell them that the sky is blue. You can give them winning lottery numbers. They don't give a fuck. They're not taking it because it came from you.
Right. Well, I think
So
that's one of the things that nobody ever talks about. When women pick men, in my opinion, a woman needs to pick a man who's smarter than she is. A lot of times women pick men who are not as intelligent as them, and that's where they go wrong. So how they say, you marry up. I want to marry somebody way more intelligent than me. Somebody who's impressive, and they're a problem solver. They're critical thinking. They're very good at project management, getting shit done, having outcomes and results. That's what the kind of man you should sign up for. And he sounds like he's a good guy, but whatever those good traits are, it seems like she don't want to see the benefit of it. So there's a trade-off. I mean, nothing is fucking free. You know what I'm saying? You give up something, you sacrifice something to get something. And if you sign up for a man who's pretty intelligent and he's structured, and I know because I'm like a fucking dingbat. I may come across as intelligent to some people, but I'm a whole fucking dingbat. And if it wasn't for my husband, I mean, I'd be all over the place. I wouldn't get shit done. And that's just the truth. And I'm not dumb, but I need the structure. And so I trade off things to get that structure. I'm better off in the long run. And that's why women sign up for marriage. That's why you sign up for a relationship. If you don't have a trade off, if you're not getting something out of it, then you're the dummy. Why you sign up for a dumb man? Why you sign up for somebody who can't do anything? Somebody you can't be impressed by? Why you sign up for that? That's your fault.
makes sense. Nah, it makes sense. Makes a whole lot of sense. Um, but we're gonna listen to more of what she got. She got a lot more to say. There's another hour, like almost an hour left in this.
And he'll disagree with me until he's blue in the face. And this is it's a part of the problem. And again, it is the blindness that comes with being
But
the
before I go
ideal.
into it, I think she wants a man that she can check. That she can check. And right there, where she's saying that he's not subscribing to the ideology of a stripper, he's like, look, man, but that ain't me. And that ain't you. Like, you're not a stripper, and I'm not a trick. So that has nothing to do with us. She's just like, nah. Like, you need to listen to me regardless. Like, what I say is what it is. That's tough on her, to understand that, hey, men are supposed to be stupid, and she realizes she's not with a man that's stupid.
In a narcissistic system. When you are the ideal, you will you will never see the problems of the system when you are the ideal of the system. Like, not to say never, because you can awaken from the system and see it for what it is, but when you are the ideal, you will be the last to see it. You will be the last to see it every single time. If you are a man, you are going to be the last to see that the patriarchy is a problem. If you're a white person, you're going to be the last to see that racism is a problem. If you are if you're a pastor or a priest or a devout Christian, you are going to be the last person to see that Christianity is a problem. If you are an able-bodied neurotypical person, you're going to be the last person to see, like, you'll be the last to see ableism. You'll be the last to see ableism. You're not going to see ableism because you are the beneficiary of no one seeing the structure that uplifts people who are neurotypical and able-bodied. You won't notice it because it's not impacting you. And so patriarchy teaches men not to be in touch with their emotions. It teaches men that feeling is girly or it's feminine or it's woman-like, and if you do it, you are gay, and if you are gay, you are the worst thing on the planet Earth. Different episode, but I'm gonna talk about patriarchy. Where there is patriarchy, the more patriarchy there is, the more homophobia there is, and it is a interesting concept that the society tells you that men are the greatest. You should revere men. You should, yield to men's authority. And you should love men, and men. You should only respect the opinions of men, but don't fall in love with a man. But don't.
Now, this is a stream that I have coming up later on in the week, and that is the effeminization of men. Better for society, or better for women, or better at all? Which I already know the answer for that. The effeminization of men is bad every which way. But to what she's saying, which is just what May just said, she's got a problem with the fact that her man does not act like a woman, or what she believes a woman should be. When she says he's not in tune with her emotions, she said that he is in tune with her emotions. He just doesn't understand his own. In other words, she can't get him to react in an emotional state. Like she can't just make him lose his shit. And she didn't like that. That's uncomfortable for her. You
Yeah.
know? So even when she mentions things like homophobia and shit like that, it's like, what the fuck does that, like, what does that have to do with you? You're a woman in a marriage with a man. What the hell does any of that shit have to do with you and your relationship?
I think that if you look at a lot of the popular culture, they've infused so many males who are feminine into everything. Like there's very, very few shows like the Housewives and all them different shows, the stuff that women watch, there's always a feminine man. And those effeminate men, they like fashion. They like what you like. And they're in masculine form. I mean male form. Let me say masculine. They're in male form. And that's become part of the culture now. So women are saying like, why can't you be more like my gay friend? You know, they call them fag hags. Why can't you be more? They start comparing gay men and their behaviors and their emotions, and they're very expressive and flamboyant. And I think a lot of women don't realize you actually want your man to either be a woman or you want him to be acting like a gay guy. You do. You do. If my man starts caring about fashion, we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? If he starts wanting to listen to me talk for more than 15 minutes, something's wrong. You see what I'm saying? I gotta start saying, what are we doing here? You know, that's why you got girlfriends. And I think that's a line, man. That's a line that they've been changing for women. You know, all this hetero, what do they call it, metrosexual shit. Men lighting candles and shit. Like, no, you should know nothing about candles. No.
I got candles in the house, but they're cheap as fuck. And whatever, a cent is a cent. I don't give a fuck. But you know, it's nice to have a woman's touch in the house, but a woman's got to add that touch. I can't
No,
do
I'm
that.
talking about a dude that is an expert and he goes to Yankee Candles and he has his favorite scents and he coupons for it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, like I said, like a woman's touch can only be provided by a woman. No, I
Right.
can't mimic that. But yeah, hey, do I like my house to smell good? Absolutely. You know, absolutely.
No, ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm talking about a culture.
Necessary,
That's what
but
I'm talking about.
I know that only a woman can provide that shit. Like, even if I try to go out there and do that shit, like, I can't do it like a woman can. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I'm not even gonna fucking try. It just is what it is. You know?
Fall in love, like it like pushes you all the way to the edge of homosexuality, and then as soon as you touch homosexuality, the guillotine comes down. And I'm just like, what an interesting concept. So anyways, that's another story for another day. But patriarchy tells men they should not be in touch with their emotions. And as a man who was raised in patriarchy, my husband often, and it tells you that the only emotion you can it tells you that the manly emotion is anger. So you can have the emotion of anger, but anger is not really an emotion. That's what the patriarchy tells you. It's just like,
well, actually, no. Anger is an emotion. Anger is most definitely an emotion, and patriarchy does not. I mean, this is just really like common sense. It's not even just patriarchy. It doesn't tell us that we can't be in touch with our emotions. It tells us that we can't allow our emotions to dictate the way we live our lives. Because if emotions dictate the way we live our lives will end up in shambles. You know, we can't react emotionally to everything because we can end up making decisions that we regret. You
I
know?
think she got the words mixed up too, Auntie. She's screwing up her terms. She's saying the patriarchy. I think she means to say toxic masculinity. I think.
I mean, in that case, I would still say she probably doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Whew. I mean, this is trust me. I believe this is tougher on her than it is on me or even you or anybody else. Like this is really tough to have to accept that. Look, her way didn't fucking work, and her man's way did. Like that's the only reason why there's a roof over her fucking head, and that's why she's just kind of resistant to it. Because I'm like, your way got your ass unemployed, not knowing which way is up, and not really being able to put food in your refrigerator or keep a roof over your fucking head. You know. Now, does that mean patriarchy is better? Or where I know a lot of women they ain't got no problem paying their bills and putting food in their refrigerator and keeping a roof over their head and shit like that. Like I said, had that been a woman like this, talking, I could disagree, but I wouldn't even argue. I wouldn't even be reviewing the damn stream. But this right here, I'm like, how the hell are you, of all people, gonna have an issue with quote unquote patriarchy? You took your son back to his father. Okay, patriarchy is the only reason why you're able to live right now because you couldn't afford to do that shit. And that's the only reason why even after you get a divorce, you're able to go back home to your father and live. Is because of patriarchy. So what's your issue with it? Because
But
without it, you'd be under a bridge somewhere.
there's no matriarchal society. I don't know what when people start talking like this, I'm like, compared to what? Like there's never been in history another alternative. I haven't seen it. Have you? It's all
No,
everybody knows from humankind.
I
Historically
mean,
speaking, that's the only
I
system we've ever had.
my grandmother, for one of my grandmothers, for example, that would have been considered a matriarch, but under no circumstances was she raising boys to be sissies. So she made sure that boys were raised by other like they understood how to be men, and only other men could teach them that. Under any and all circumstances. So you know, like a woman paying the bills, calling the shots, or whatever doesn't necessarily mean it's got to be a matriarch or whatever. Like the system is still the same,
Yeah,
regardless of
system.
who is paying the bills. You know,
Exactly.
structure and order is not a bad thing. I think her issue is just with structure, order, and things like that. Because just like she said earlier, her issue is mainly just, hey, just having to do things at a certain time, having to meet deadlines, having to take care of your responsibilities, just like Bridget said. She doesn't
Yeah, I
want to
was
be
gonna
an
say Bridget.
adult.
Bridget made a good point. Yeah.
That's really what it is. You got an issue with being a responsible adult. That
Yep.
isn't an issue with patriarchy. That's just you not wanting to be a responsible adult.
Yep.
Like with no man around, you should still be a fucking responsible adult. You
Yeah,
know?
I think that's the root of her problem. She's not mature and she doesn't want to be. She wants to hide in an alter world where she creates the rules and everything just works out because it's supposed to. And she doesn't have to sacrifice or she's just a free bird and everything's provided. She's got an altered fantasy she's living in.
And spoiler alert again, she's gonna mention that. She says, hey, she just wants to be able to make money because she looks good. What up, Club Fortune? Yeah, she says she wants to be able to make money just because she looks good. She doesn't want to have to work for it or, anything like that. She just wants to be able to make money because she looks good. What up, Club Fortune? Yeah, she says she wants to be able to make money just because she looks good. She doesn't want to have to work for it or you know, or any of that other stuff that other people have to do to make money. Like you got to be able to provide fucking value to people. In order to get money from people, you got to be able to provide something of value that people are willing to pay for,
You
even
think
if
she gonna
that's
end up on OnlyFans?
um. I mean, she better go quick because hey, I'm just saying, Father Time Grant. She's not a bad looking woman, but Father
No, she's
Time
pretty.
Gravity gonna hit everybody at some
She's
point.
pretty.
So hey, stop! Don't waste time.
She's
It's
pretty,
a
but she
manly
looks like
trait
a
to have.
wife.
It's true.
Say it again.
I said she's pretty, but she looks like a wife. She doesn't look like a vixen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, what happened? I lost audio for a sec, or did you lose audio, May?
No, I can hear you. I can hear. I don't see the video moving.
Okay, no, I didn't play it. Oh,
And so I witnessed and I saw
I'll be right
anger a lot in my husband, and not like not in an abusive way, not in a I was afraid for my life kind of way, but in a if as someone who enjoys being as he is someone who enjoys being organized and cleaned, things if he had a bad day at work and then he would come home and things weren't organized and cleaned, his anger would come out. And like, again, not in a scary way, but in a like just not his usual kind, sweet, empathetic self. Just you don't know, but if you've ever lived with someone where they were a wonderful person, and I'm again, as someone who studies narcissism, I know the difference between like narcissistic rage and which is still technically it's really still technically a microcosm of narcissistic rage, but it's like it's a microcosm of it. It's not the full thing. But when a man doesn't get what he wants and that rage comes because they feel like they should have what they want. I'm discovering something in real time here. But yeah, there was a little there were little bits of anger that I couldn't break through because he didn't see them as anger. He didn't when I would say like, you seem a little upset right now. No, I'm not. I'm not upset. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. And it's just like you're talking to me right now in a way you've never talked to me. You never typically talk to me. Might even raise your voice every like he didn't like it was really he had one time to raise his voice at me and that was it. um yeah, no.
better man than me, because I'd have cussed her the fuck out a couple of fucking times, man. Um, I would have. But more than likely, I'd have got the fuck up out of there. I would have politely asked, and I said this on Brenda's too. I would have had to politely ask her to leave. I would have had to. This isn't gonna work. She just gives me some serious ditzy vibes, like just a ditz. You know, that's just me.
Ever again. But yeah, so that one time that he did that, again, he didn't see himself as angry. And it was like, how do you not see that as anger? And then so there's a danger in someone not seeing that they themselves are angry and upset. Because then the angry actions that come after that, they don't attribute that to their anger. And so it's like, yeah. So anyway, so one was my husband is a man raised under the patriarchy. And so he had some patriarchal beliefs that he wouldn't let go of, or that he didn't know that he had. Cause again, he can't see it because he's in it and benefiting from it and all that stuff. And then two was that sense of freedom that I was looking for, that I wanted, that I still want, that I thought I would always have when I had a partner who actually took care of me, who actually cared about me, who actually treated me well. I had, again, y'all, I can't emphasize enough how if I wanted something, my husband made sure I had it. Like I had never before I met, fell in love, and married him, I had never been out the country. And he made sure that we took a trip to Jamaica as our first like couples trip. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. I had a great time. But so the things that he wanted out of me were the typical things that are expected of a partner. I wouldn't even say a wife. Just like to spend time with me after work. He, like I said, I was saying earlier, he likes to watch TV after work, while we eat our dinner. But before I got in a relationship and before I was, married, I never watched TV. Since I was a child, I never liked watching TV. It's just like, it's always felt like propaganda to me. Even as a child, I didn't have the word. As a kid, as a kid, I didn't have the word for it, but I never liked watching TV. I felt like it was boring, for one, because the storylines were always so freaking basic. And then two, like the stuff that they showed in TVs and TV shows, it was always like, it just never it never sat well with me. It was never better than me and my books. Me and my books, we went together real, real bad. And like, it started off with like, I was a poor Black kid who had no cable. And so we had the little satellite dish and we can only get, Saturday morning cartoons on, the PBS channel. But it turned into, even once we had cable and I had access to channels, like I would watch Disney every once in a while, but I would still prefer books, because just like the rich experience that you get from reading a book from a character's point of view, you can never get that from watching a story that is being played out on TV. So I never watched TV. I've always hated watching TV, in fact, and I still to this day don't like watching TV. I'll listen to podcasts. I'll watch YouTube videos because if it's like educational content, but I've never watched TV for entertainment. Like, TV is not good entertainment to me. But my husband loves TV. Loves TV, loves watching all kinds, like the animes, like the show. Like, it's just like he can come home and watch TV all day. And that makes him happy. And as we came together, and he's an introvert and I'm an extrovert, which again was fine because, yeah, sure, as a younger person, I was, partying a lot and I had a lot of friends. So I had my friends over often. So going into married life, I knew all those things would like slow down, but I didn't know how that would impact me. Yeah. And so now I'm at this point, if you've been keeping up with the story, where I have no job, I have no car, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm cooking, I'm doing content creation, but I can't do it, all the time. I have to do it in a certain way. And then during my, like the time after work, I'm like, I have to spend it watching TV. And then after dinner, I don't know. There was just like, and then after dinner, there was just something else. There was always something when you have someone in your life that is your person, your partner, your spouse. There is always the expectation that you are doing something with them, for them, or accommodating them in some way. Like I like to listen to music as loud as I possibly can, like on a speaker. Like I got a professional grade JBL speaker because I love music and I love loud music and I love loud quality music. Like if you get put line up some speakers in front of me, I will tell you and like blindfold me and then you just play them. I'll be able to tell you which one is the crappiest speaker and I will be able to tell you which one is the best speaker just off of the sound alone. A lot of people can't distinguish what good quality audio is versus good like crap audio, but I can. And so, because I like to listen to quality music very loudly. But when you live with someone, you can't do that. You can't just put on music as loud as you want to and just dance around your house nude, which is something I do enjoy doing, but I just can't do that with a husband, a person. Like you can, but you will always be being perceived. You will always, like, even if they don't judge, even if they don't, mind, even if like it doesn't bother them, the fact that I am playing this super loud music and dancing in a way that I'm insecure about. I'm not confident in my dance skills. I think I have 16 left feet. And when I dance, it's possibly, probably. So, well, here's the thing. When I'm dancing by myself, I feel like I'm really good. But the moment I get in front of people, I feel like I get very self-conscious. And that's when I begin dancing offbeat because I'm thinking about what I'm doing versus just doing it. I'm thinking about how does this look in front of people instead of just doing it. And so the self-consciousness of being watched while dancing and the lack of confidence that I have, I don't dance well in front of people. And so people have always told me I dance poorly. And so although...
Man, this chick is all over the fucking place, man. Like all over the place. I'm personally good on that. You know, a woman that's going to be all over the place like that, I'm like, you good. I would just kindly ask her to leave, when we're done. If anything got started at all. Because I already know, like, whatever the hell it is that she's going through with her thoughts just being all over the place, that shit can be contagious, and I don't want none of that. That's just me. You want to add something to that, May?
Yeah, the thing is that she seems like she has an issue with realizing compatibility later. You know what I mean? Like a lot of this stuff, she's comparing what he likes, what she likes, and all that type of stuff. And it's like, did you not know that y'all had these different things? But being married, you don't have to be the same. You don't have to be the same. Like my husband, he loves sports, and I think sports are strange. And so when he goes to his Braves games, he's going. You go. You want to go to the Hawks? You go. I'm good. You do that, And I feel like she kind of, I don't know. That's why I said women, some of us, we really fantasize. You're supposed to be my twin. You're supposed to like what I like. It's the difference that makes the gel. And she just sounds like she wants somebody who's an imitation of her. Just very, I'm not trying to be mean, but she's a little centered on herself.
To be honest, I don't think she wants anybody at all. Like, even when she mentioned earlier the way she went back to her baby daddy, who was a narcissist and all of that, I think she would be more comfortable in toxicity and conflict than she would with structure, order, and actual compatibility.
I can see that. And a lot of us think that we're not in love unless we got strife and problems and stuff. And dudes sound like,
I don't think I think somebody like her isn't comfortable unless they're arguing and about some shit.
And that's not surprising. That's the kind of culture we live in. Everything's got to be drama. We're not in love, and everything is like all this extra shit. Everything's got to be busy and chaotic to matter. Nobody can just be fucking normal. Can we just like she said, like he said, he want to just sit and watch TV together? What's fucking wrong with that? She's talking about he's an introvert and I'm an extrovert.
You expect her to cook and make sure that because she's like, well, why I gotta cook? It's like, yeah, because you've been fucking home all goddamn day and you've been doing shit. Clean the goddamn house and shit like that. And then it's like, look, okay, you don't want to do that? No problem. I'll cook. You do the cleaning. She was like, she had a problem with that shit. There was a problem no matter what.
Right.
It was like okay, I'll do the cleaning, you do the cooking. And she's like, nah, I don't want to do the cooking. And he's like, okay, well, I'll do the cooking, you do the cleaning. She's like, no. That's too patriarchal.
I think that a lot of times, I'm telling you, I think people think when they get married, we're going to have, 2 champagne glasses and we're going to have romantic dinners every night. I think some people really got that in their mind. They really think it's some kind of fantasy. And, every night we're going to be somewhere doing something, watch too many movies, see too much TV, too much social media. And I can't blame her. She's a millennial. She's grown up in that kind of culture. That's the stuff, like even these, but we talking about swirlers the other day. This whole idea of this man takes me and sweeps me off my feet, takes me to the jungle. And he's got me riding lions and shit. All fantasies. And we build up a lot of fantasies around marriage. That's just too fucking boring. Me cooking and us two eating, looking at each other over what I cook, too fucking boring. It's too normal. Can't do it.
Too damn normal.
I love dancing. I'll only do it to myself and for myself and with myself because I don't like other people watching me dance because it's an insecurity I have. And so I want to be able to dance to loud music with no one watching in my house. I want to be able to be on my phone at all times of the day whenever I feel like it without someone monitoring me saying your screen time is up. I want to not eat food for 2 or 3 days straight and not have someone say, "Hey, babe, are you okay? You should eat something," which is just fasting. Mind you guys, fasting is it's an ancient practice. People fast all the time. It's actually really good for your health. Again, I have an exercise and nutrition background. Like my degree is in human health. And so I know what I'm talking about. But as your partner, he doesn't have a degree in exercise and nutrition science. So he doesn't know what I know when it comes to the human body. So when I'm doing stuff like I haven't eaten all day and I don't want to eat, to someone who loves you, they're like, "Are you okay?" But to someone who is a free thinker, I'm like, "I know I'm okay. I'm doing what I want." No, I'm like, just let me do it. And then I would say and I don't want to call it a final straw, but the thing so these are all things that are like, just, I feel this pressure mounting on me of all of these expectations of what it is to be a woman, what it is to be a wife, what it is to be a partner, what it is to be a lover, what it is to be a best friend who lives with their best friend, in a romantic capacity. And then so the last straw, if you will, was when my husband, again, we don't have a car, and so he bought a scooter, like an electric scooter, to get around. We live in a suburban area, so things aren't very far. You don't really need a car where we live. Plenty of metro to get you around, plenty of public transportation. But, occasionally there is a place you got to go that is a little bit further than you want to walk, but you don't want to wait for the bus. And so you got a scooter. So it's this electric scooter, and he got it. He didn't like it, so he got another one, and he was going to return the first one. And a conversation came up about me returning the first one again, since I don't have a job and I can do things during the middle of the day. But he said he didn't want me to ride it because it was dangerous, and I was like, what? Like, what? What? You didn't want me to ride the electric scooter because it was dangerous, but you ride the electric scooter. And he's like, yeah, because I bought it to ride. And I was like, okay, so you can ride this dangerous scooter, but I can't. Essentially his argument was that since he rides it now and will be riding it regularly, it's fine. But since I don't ride it regularly, I shouldn't ride it at all because I could get hurt. I could, not know what I'm doing and fall off and get hurt. And so I'm like, do you know, like, I've ridden electric scooters before? And he's like, oh, but how long ago was that? And I'm just like, maybe a couple of years, sure. But it's like, it's an electric scooter. It's not. And then he did bring up, like, oh, so if I just said I wanted to get a motorcycle, like, wouldn't you be upset because it's not safe? And I was just like, well, yes, I would, because motorcycles are very, very not safe. But you're comparing a motorcycle to an electric scooter. Like, he's like, what's the difference? And I'm like, one, you need a license, you need classes, you need hours of practice before you are authorized to use it on the road. The other, you need to sign into an app. The other, you need to get on and adjust to the controls for a couple of seconds and then go. And mind you, I was just out cycling with my son, and I was like, mind you, I have like a road bike, like a speed bike, like not one of the, like, not like a regular bike. I used to be a cyclist. I used to cycle all the time, everywhere, all throughout DC.
I like what May said earlier. Like, this is some shit I'd be like, why the fuck are you still talking? Like, can you please stop? And I know a lot of women will take offense to that shit. But in a situation like this, that's what I would be like, the fuck? Like, you started to make my fucking head hurt. You're annoying. Like, annoying. You stop talking. Like, this is what you're doing, and this is what I want you to do. Type shit. But go ahead, May.
Yeah, get that talking thing. It's I get we as women, we can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
You still reeling from all her talking?
Because I'm just like, what the fuck? Like,
But that's women. That's how we do. That's how we do. We talk. We go into the details. A lot of women do. When I say that, you don't know. You got a lot of good women. They don't give it to you because they know better. But we can talk. And if you've heard I'm sure you've heard your female women friends and stuff. and ladies on the phone. We can go into detail and talk forever. I mean, a lot of women talk for 2 hours, 3 hours, and that's what we do. But we know not to do that. Look, those of us got good sense. We know not to do that with our man. That's for that's for our homegirl, best friend, our cousin or something. You don't do that. That just your man does not want to hear. He just don't want to hear it. He love you and everything, but he don't want to hear it. And you can keep doing it. He can tolerate it, just going on and on and on in the detail. But after about 10 minutes, he's gone. He might be looking at. He said, "Your mind is here. No, your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town." You heard that song?
Like seriously, I'm like,
You're like, "God damn, shut up."
and you don't want to tell your woman, hey, can you do me a favor and shut the fuck up? Like, I don't want to just say that to you like that because I can understand how you take offense to that. So I think I just gotta leave. Like, I might have to just step out. Like, I'm
But see,
just
that's
gonna.
the balance. That's the balance of women representing women and also knowing where the line is. I know when I talk to my husband, I just gotta get to the point, say what I mean. If there's a request or something I need him to do, get to that quick and explain to him why I'm telling him this. And that's it. And I might get his response and he can go back and forth and have some questions, clarity. But that's about it. Like, yeah, just going on and on and on. That's definitely we chat. And so we got to do that with our girlfriends and our girlfriends only. And she might not know that. But if a woman is in tune to a man, she can tell when his mind is like, okay, he's gone. He's not listening. And I'm sure I have done that sometimes, talked a little too long. And then I'll notice his face and I'll be like, he ain't even listening. He gone. He's being nice and polite, but he ain't listening.
Like, what the fuck?
When I was in college, and that was another part that was brought up, was like, okay, yeah, although the handles are, it might be easy to ride the scooter, but like riding it around with cars is a different experience. And I was just like, for 4 years, I rode my bike in and out of traffic through Washington, D.C. with no helmet, mind you. I should have had a helmet, but it's like I'm very comfortable riding in and out and around traffic on two wheels. It's not like that's not a new thing. But he could not conceptualize that I felt safe. He's just like, oh well, like it's a risk that you don't have to take. You can just walk, or you can just not take the scooter. You can get there in any other way that other than the scooter. And I was like, I understand that there are other options, but the whole reason why we were even talking about the scooters because it would get me there faster. It would be more convenient. The reason why you bought the scooter was to not have to do things in a long and manual way. You could just, hop on the scooter and go. And so that is what the use case in this case was. So yeah, I can get there slower on foot or on the bus, but I wanted to use a quicker, easier method. And so he was saying like the risk that you take on from using the electric scooter is not as it's not worth the benefits of getting there faster. And I was like,
Auntie,
that's your opinion. And I was like, that
Auntie, just right there. He's trying to help her balance out risk. Now, who's the one with the kid?
Shit.
Who's the one with the kid? Right, right. And that little boy needs his mother because that's his biological mother. His father may be somewhere else present, but somewhere else he needs his mom. And maybe dude is thinking about that. Like, I don't have kids. I have responsibilities with you, but if somebody's going to take the risk, it'd be better for me to take the risk. And the reality is she probably, I don't know if in 10 months, but he probably got a insurance policy on his life. Okay. And so if something happens to him, that's something that married people think about. You know, she probably don't have an insurance policy. He probably don't have an insurance policy on her. He probably doesn't, you know. And so there's that. But she can't appreciate that. I'm not trying to come down on her, but I'm just saying she's not thinking you have a whole kid. And that child does not need to lose his mother. Use the car, not the motorcycle.
Yeah. This chick is nuts. It don't make sense. But hey, she even said, hey, he's the one that thinks things through. You know, he's logical. She's the impulsive one. You know, all of those things. She's like, hey, fuck that. That's a
Is your
problem.
opinion? I feel like the risk of using this scooter, which I feel is a very, very, very small risk of injury. And I'm just like, even the worst case scenario is what I fall off, I scrape an ankle, I scrape a knee. It's like, what is the problem? And he's like, the risk isn't worth it. And I'm just like, the risk is basically zero, so the risk is worth it. Oh, I was saying I was cycling the other day with no hands all the way down the street, going at like probably, if I could guess, at least 15 miles per hour, probably 20, maybe even faster. Again, I have a speed bike. I have a road bike, like the bikes that people use in the cycling competitions. Like I ride. I'm an athlete. I'm on a semi-professional softball team. I pitch balls between 40 to 60 miles per hour. I hit balls about 60 miles per hour. I catch balls that are going that fast. Like my reflexes are excellent. It's not like, I'm not like I am quite the homebody couch person at the moment, but I am an athlete in my heart of hearts. I am an athlete.
But do you see that, Auntie?
My husband.
Auntie, do you see that? We have all these conversations about protection, don't we? All the time. Men don't protect black women. Black men don't protect black women. All the time we have those conversations. And here's a form of protection saying you don't take the risk. I don't want you to put yourself at risk. And she's a fool. I've ridden those bike motorbikes and stuff. I was zipping and zooming through India, riding the shit full speed. It's a risk. If anybody has seen a motorcycle accident, you know it's a serious risk. She's talking about scraping a leg. There are people who could sideswipe you, don't see you, run your ass flat the fuck over. I don't know what she's talking about. Somebody hit that wheel, you go flying 30 feet in the air. I don't know what she's talking about. You got teenagers, drunk drivers. I don't know what she's talking about. Talking about ain't no risk. All I could do is fall over. Bullshit. Bullshit. You can get fucked up on a motorcycle more than a car. And we talk about protection all the time. That is a form of protection. I give you a perfect example. It's not a rule. It's not something my husband said, you better not go out at night. No, but me and my daughter, as two females alone, he prefers us not to go out at night. Don't go to the Walmart. Everybody know the Walmart has become the bang bang shoot it up spot. Don't go out, unless you're gonna get the food picked up at a pickup spot or something. Just don't do it. Why? Because I'm not there to protect you. Because if you're a single woman out here by yourself at night, I can't protect you from what might be out there. So my husband gives me a call in the evening, and I always wait for that call. You need anything? He'll go and get the juice or the milk or the this or the that. Or I can make it my business to go out in the daytime and pick up what the hell I want. But if it's nighttime, I'm inside because I can't be protected. You know what I'm saying? We talk about protection, but do we really want it? That's my question.
That's why I would always say, like, there's a difference between, I hear the protection conversation, and I'm like, look, protection, or, what would you prefer? Would you prefer protection or empowerment? And, I think a lot of people, wouldn't even they don't want protection or empowerment. They want enabling. Like, they want to be enabled. So when they say when in these spaces, when they talk about protection, what they really want is a dude to just be a fucking crash dummy. In other words, look, I can do as much fucked up shit as I want, and you need to go step in front of live ammunition for me. That's it. That's protection. I should be able to go get to niggas, and you're supposed to jump in between me and those niggas I just talked a bunch of shit to.
Protection is prevention.
And if one of them get pissed off and want to knock the fuck out of me, you should take the punch for me, or you should hit that nigga first for me. That's not protection. That's enabling.
Protection is prevention, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to prevent.
Yeah, and prevention, empowerment is prevention. It's like, look, for real, I'm going to empower you by, number one, keeping you out of those positions, but also putting you in position to be able to defend yourself. And the best defense, it's self-defense and prevention, just like you said. That's real empowerment. To the point where I don't have to protect you because you'll protect yourself. Now, when things come up that you can't protect yourself against, that's what I'm here for. But the best thing to do is to avoid fucked up situations, not get in fucked up situations and then determine that, hey, I'm supposed to come clean it up for you.
And
So
see,
I
that's
can understand where a lot of these dudes are coming from when they say, look,
yeah,
a lot of these chicks just want us to be their cleanup dude. I get it. But hey, understand that those ain't the chicks for you. That
right.
that that was the only thing that I said for these dudes. Like, I'm like, why do y'all spend all this time talking about those fucking women when they're dumb as a fucking box of rocks? They ain't supposed to have no man. Anyway, leave
But
them
you know,
be.
I bet you she's not registering that what he's doing, his sense of protection and wanting to minimize risk and stuff. I bet you that's not registering to her as a positive protection at all. And she talked about the patriarchy. Well, that's part of patriarchy. Men being protectors by helping to prevent problems and stuff. That's part of it, keeping you out of harm's way. That's part of patriarchy. So she wants to pick and choose the parts of patriarchy, and that's not fair. You want a
Well,
half a man. You
they
want
don't
half of
believe
a
in
man.
they don't believe in keeping you out of harm's way. They believe in standing between you and harm.
Mm.
That's what women like her believe. That's what protection means. That's it. If I put myself in fucked up situations, you're just supposed to take the blow for me. And
Well, she
if you end up dead, whatever, I'll just find another motherfucker to take a punch or a blow to the head for me. Fuck it. You know?
Yeah, she did that man a favor, even though it's fucked up, because he would have to be half a man. He can't be a full man being with her. She just wants to pick and choose, and that's not the type of dude he is. And not only that, he can't express himself in his masculinity with somebody like her. Everything is the patriarchy. And he probably put up with it, but it probably was going to end up being a place where they had contention eventually. Eventually. He gets tired of that. You know what I'm saying? Just the demonizing everything that's good. Even the good stuff, that's a problem. Everything
I'm
that's good about it is a problem.
not gonna lie, I would leave this chick if she's sitting here sending me fucking videos and shit from ex strippers about how fucked up the patriarchy is, and I'm over here paying all of your goddamn bills and trying to keep you from doing stupid shit, and you're still doing it. Man, I would have politely asked this woman to fucking leave. And as far as her father and shit, I would have called her father and been like, "Can you do me a favor? Don't even worry about it. Her shit's already packed. Come get it. Come get it.
Come get it.
Got to go." Now I only know that shit because I've been in that situation before. I had to. Hey, I had a conversation with a woman's father before. Like, yo, you can come get her, and it's all good. Ain't nothing. No, we ain't arguing. Ain't no fussing. Ain't no fighting. But yo, it would be best that you come and get her because I'm trying to avoid a fucked up situation before it happens. So, oh well, can y'all work it out? What's there to work out? We ain't had no problem yet. But rather than waiting for one to come and then dealing with it, I'm just going to avoid it now. Come get her. Come get her. This is not going to work. We ain't compatible. So that's what I would have been like. But like, yo, her shit's already packed. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it.
Sitting here and telling me that he does not feel safe with me riding an electric scooter. Something inside of me broke. Something inside of me broke. Something inside of me broke. Because I'm like, he did not mean, like, he meant well. He meant well. He, in all of his heart of hearts, genuinely feared for my safety and did not want me to get on this scooter because of it. But that genuine fear, it came from one, a place of assuming that I am incapable or incompetent of riding this scooter in a way that you deem dangerous safely, but you can, because you have practice and I don't have practice, so you feel like I can't, even though I do have practice. It just was a little while ago, which I told him, I was like, yeah, sure, it might take me there's a learning curve. Sure, I'll I've been on different electric scooters, and I know that a bike is not an electric scooter, but like I have all the concepts, and I just need to get on the scooter to refresh myself. But that so, but he believed that I could do it, but he believed that the possibility of me getting hurt was so high that it just wasn't worth it. And if you believe the possibility of me getting hurt is so high, that means that it inherently means you think I am incapable. Like, you think I have some sort of less competence of being able to acquire and do this skill that you do on a regular basis, because I will get hurt. And it's like the fact that I even had to sit there and argue a case for why I should be able to ride an electric scooter was when it dawned on me that no matter what, no matter whom I'm with, I'm always going to have someone looking over my shoulder. I'm always going to have, if you have a partner, if you have a person who you are tied to in this romantic way, your options in life will always be stifled. They will always be limited. They will always be watched. They will always be judged. They will always be perceived. They will always be given an opinion for. And I realized that I want nothing more in life than to live my life with no one's opinions about it, other than.
I mean, shout out to this woman for being fucking honest. Because I'll be 100. Most people, not even just women, most people will lie to you about that. But that is literally how they fucking think and move through life.
But what's the cost of that? You know? That shit get long.
Look at how many people have fucked up lives. That's what the cost is. A fucked up life, possibly even death, permanent paralysis, just shit that you regret. A lot of people make mistakes, but she's like, fuck it. I want to be able to do that shit. Number one, not get any scrutiny, but number two, not have anybody help me to avoid them. If I make mistakes, I just want to make the motherfuckers, you know. And you know, as a happily married woman, hey, sometimes, you know, like a lot of times, somebody's going to help you to avoid making those mistakes. That's it. Like, you're not even going to be able to experience regret because they're going to remind you of that shit ahead of time. So just like you said,
Right.
you know, like she didn't even want the prevention. Like, she considers prevention of fucked up shit as oppression.
I had this friend who had a son who had a little problem. It was kind of funny. He had a bad habit of just wanting to run and look at the sky and just run full speed. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what she sounds like she want to do. She just want to look at the sky and run full speed, and she don't care what she smacks into, holes she falls in, or nothing. And she if she can't find somebody who's gonna clap while she does that, they're not good enough. That's crazy. That's part of the trade-off of a relationship. You get two brains, two ways of thinking, two alternatives, somebody to help with make choices, you know, somebody who's a guide. I mean, that's why you want to be careful who you're dealing with, male or female, an intelligent person who's thoughtful. That's the benefit of it. And she's not seeing the benefit of anything that's a relationship. Sounds to me like she doesn't know how to navigate interpersonal relationships. And maybe, Auntie, I would submit this, maybe that's why she wants to be a blogger. She gets a chance to actually talk to people because maybe she don't have social skills. Maybe she don't have no friends. And this is like therapy for her, and it's a chance to talk. That might be why she's doing it, you know? That might be why that's the only job she can see herself doing. It gives her a chance to connect because she ain't connecting in real life. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I would agree with that. I just think, yeah, she doesn't just have an issue with a man telling her anything. Like, and granted, look, I've been there, so I understand. Like that adrenaline rush, can almost feel like euphoria, at times. Like I like shit like, what I'm saying, skydiving and bungee jumping and, gambling and shit like that. Like it's a cool rush. But it's like there are repercussions from that shit when shit don't fucking work out. So you gotta calculate the fucking risk. That's what a significant other, somebody that cares about you, is gonna remind. They're gonna remind you of the risks.
Yeah, and a significant other don't want you to be a high risk person, because if you're a high risk person, that means all your consequences become their consequences. And that's what he's
Boom.
trying to tell her. I don't need you to go get fucked up on that bicycle. Then I got to deal with you in rehab for 6 months and raising your kid and doing all that. I don't need you to do none of that. She's not saying that it's a give and take. It's a give and take.
And she's like, "Fuck that!" But it's an adrenaline rush, and I want to feel that shit. Nah, 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 homie.
In my own. I want to wake up when I want to without someone
That's what I
judging.
was telling you, Bridget, earlier, when she was like, "Oh, you see how people's eyes can light up." I'm like, "Wait, there's more. You got to listen to this shit, man. You got to listen to this shit, because everything that glitters ain't gold. Yeah, she's a good looking woman, but that's kind of where it starts. Like the more you listen to her talk, it's like, what the fuck? And to be honest, from a man's perspective, these be the same type of women that be like, look, oh, you just kind of switched up. It's like, no, I kind of got to know you, and I don't really like you anymore. Like, to be honest, I just don't like you no more. Like I liked you before I got to know you, but now I know you, and I don't like you anymore.
Me for getting up late and calling me lazy. I want to not eat without someone thinking that I'm starving myself for some sort of weird reason. I want to do dangerous and reckless things without having someone at home that I have to worry about. Like, oh my God, what if you pass away? Like, if I want to put my life on the line, I want to be able to do that. If I want to say reckless things on the internet, I want to be able to do that without someone looking me up later and saying, oh, she's married to this person, and so let me harass this person. I want to be able to just move at my own pace. I want
And there you go. She literally admits all of it. Right
She
there.
said it. I want to be reckless. She said, I want to be reckless.
I just want to do reckless shit and put my life on the line without having to worry about what the fuck somebody else might say about it.
Wow, brutal honesty.
And that explains why the title of her video is "I Divorced My Perfect Husband." Now, for all the ladies that are on here all day, every day, wondering why you can't find a good man, I'll tell you why. Because they're with a woman like Bree Speaks. Oh shit, that shit is fucked up. But
Yeah, somebody like her will ruin a good man. She would definitely ruin a good man.
real. And when you do get a hold of that dude, you get him after he's dealt with a woman like Bree Speaks, and he's all fucked up. Like he's all fucked up. But just like she make bad decisions, so do we. We're fucking men. We fuck up too. We choose, just like y'all choose the wrong dude. We choose the wrong chicks.
Yeah, he gonna be all confused. He ain't gonna know what to do. He gonna be like, she gonna make him second guess. Maybe she gonna make him second guess his role.
Well, he would have made a good husband for a good woman or a good wife. Based on what she, but now,
Yeah.
hey, he's damaged.
He's definitely damaged. And I mean, think about that. Then you got men. You might have men that start second guessing their own masculinity. I don't mean masculinity like, am I gay or something? I don't mean that. I'm just saying like his natural inclination to be a masculine man, to protect, to provide, to do all these things. She may confuse that. It depends on his mentality. If he stands strong in who he is, maybe not. But he may second guess himself, you know. Maybe the next time he meet a woman and she starts saying, you know, I'd like to work from home, he'd be like, nah, get your ass out there. You work just like I do. Fuck that. You know, or I used to try to help this broad cook and clean and stuff and share stuff. Now I'm not going to share nothing. I'm just gonna go to work and then you do everything else. I mean, you know, that's ruining. That's ruining.
And this ain't even just a wife. Like, she was a wife and a mother. Yeah.
I want to do what I want. I want to be who I want to be. I want to shine as bright as I want to shine without the opinion of another. I want to be able to have dreams and not have, or goals, and not have someone question those goals unless I ask them for their opinion. But when you're married, if you have a goal, you have to run it by your partner. You cannot say, partner, one day I'm waking up.
And hold on, I'm going to stop it right there, because she's full of shit when she says that. No, she said, unless I ask you for your opinion, what she really means is unless I give you your opinion. Because she sent him those videos from that ex-stripper, asked him his opinion, and then she turned that into an argument. When she asked him for his opinion, that wasn't enough. She's like, yo, hey, I got to give you your opinion. You know? That's what I'm saying. The people that complain about being controlled are usually the controlling people themselves, just like the narcissists, or the ones that call everyone narcissists, are usually the narcissists. Usually. You know? That's why I say these relationship conversations are just bullshit, because a lot of these people just don't want to admit that they're the issue. You know?
Yep, and I'm going to law school. You have to run that by them first. And again, this is not about asking them for permission, but it is your responsibility as a partner to inform your partner of your life, of the things you are doing. That's the whole point. That is the whole point of having a long-term partner, is to share your life together. And I'm like, I realize I don't want to share my life. I don't want to share it with a husband. And then that made me realize I don't want to have another kid. I don't want to have another kid. And I just, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, I know my husband is so helpful. He is like the most executive functioning person that I know. Again, as someone who with ADHD, my executive functioning is crap. Like, I'll have a bajillion and a bajillion excellent, amazing, fantastic ideas, and I can never get any of them done. But that man, if he has an idea and he wants to do it, he's getting it done. I just love that. And so when I think about having a kid and having a kid with him, I know that if I'm tired, he'll get up and he'll do the milk. I know that if I don't want to do stuff with the kid, he'll do. I know that he would pick up the slack wherever I faltered or wherever I felt like I couldn't. But the default for that baby was going to be me. The default, like, for when that baby needed to get fed, was going to be my body, my bosoms. I would be that child's primary parent. There's no way around it. Like, when you are a mother and you give birth to a child, your responsibility is to care for that child, especially with your body. I mean, sure, I could do formula, but in this economy, no, I would try my very best to breastfeed, which would make me the primary parent for that child. And whenever that child needed anything, I was going to be the first person that child came to, especially if I continued to be a stay-at-home mom. That would have been my job. My job would have been caring for a kid. My kid just turned 12, about to be 13. I didn't mind starting over again, thinking that as long as I had someone who I know would help, it would be fine. But as I started to feel this pressure of having to do things at a certain time, having to have dinner cooked at a certain time, having to get off my phone at a certain time, having to watch TV. I don't like watching TV. But it's like, but the thing is, like, I would watch TV with my husband because I love my husband. I love him, and I would watch TV with him. I would do anything with that man. I would do it because he's fun. He's fun. He's smart. He's kind. He's loving. He's funny. I'm just like, I'll watch TV, and that's the thing. I will watch TV
And she
with him
still
every
threw
day
him
of my
away.
life if that's what he wanted to do, because that's who I am. Is I am a loving, giving person, and I will give up my own comfort for the comfort of others. And I don't love that about myself, and I'm working on, and I've been working on that, and I've worked on it so much, actually, to the point where I have just asked my husband for a divorce.
She just said all that shit. She's like, yeah, I just asked him for a divorce.
She's reckless. She's reckless. She's foolish.
Well,
She seems
at the
like a
end,
nice lady, but she seems like a nice lady, Auntie. But on the surface, she's just very childish, immature, self-centered. Even when it comes to children, I mean, that's not a maternal bone in her body. She's the last person that needs to be having children. She's talking like a baby is a thing that you gotta, manage or something. I'd have to feed them. I'd have to. Oh wow, just goddamn wow.
which is part of being a parent. Look, I can remember that, and my son's 20 years old now. I can remember when he was under 6 months old. She had gone back to work, and I was out of work for a couple of months. And I can remember when I was doing like the stay-at-home thing, like, hey, fuck it, man. I just got that shit done. I took him with me everywhere where I needed to go. Everywhere where I needed to go, he came with me. Hey, you coming in the shower with me, all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm making sure I clean you up, whatever. All of that shit. Like, that's the way it is. So that's just part of being a parent. Like you're gonna pick up the slack. She got to work, so hey, I'm gonna make sure everything's good. Like, I can't breastfeed you, but I got all the formula and all that shit taken care of, and anything that she could have put in a fucking, pumped out and put in a fucking bottle, I got that shit too. We good. We good. I made sure she had a pump. But this chick right here, that's why I keep giving the woman a shout out, because I applaud her for being honest, because most people in these spaces and on the internet aren't going to be this honest about it, and you're not going to you're like, she's literally just thinking out loud, and I appreciate that. What up, Dark Lake?
Hey, what's good, bro? Can you hear me?
Salute, bro. Appreciate you coming up. I know you wanted to come up for this one. I'm gonna do a part 3 to this. And I'm gonna review somebody else's review of this video. But yeah, it's deep. I don't know how much of it you've been listening to, but yeah, bro, it's this woman is all over the place, bro.
Yeah, I've listened to the past like 3 minutes. Thing is, man, I just heard the part. It's like, if you don't like watching TV, bro, what the fuck? No, the thing that kind of pointed out to me, and thank you so much for having me on here, Auntie. I appreciate it. And the lady that's on the panel, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. But
That's me.
How you doing, man? Good to see you here.
Hey.
Yeah, no, the thing, Auntie, is that what kind of pointed out to me, and what she was saying, is she is admitting to the fact that he is the type of man that would pick up the slack, when she's kind of out of it or whatever, But, what she's sort of neglecting or not realizing is picking up the slack means that you are incurring more responsibility plus your own. So he's out there working, he's out there being a provider, which from her words, it sounds like this is a provider type male. So, he is taking care of his responsibilities and duties, plus being the type of man that will pick up the slack and help her out when she needs it. I don't know, maybe she's under emotional stress that day or whatever. So, you know what? I'll wash the dishes, honey. I'll change the diaper, honey. Go sit down. And I mean, I don't know what she can do. Read a book. She don't like watching TV. But what she did was she juxtapositioned that scenario, all those great things about that guy, with her being, as she said, a sole provider pertaining to her caring for the child with her body, breastfeeding and all that. She sees that as her being a sole provider, right? And not just her responsibility as a woman, as a mother. So what I don't understand is why can't she juxtaposition that scenario, Auntie, with the man? So the man is taking care of his responsibility plus picking up the slack. How come she can't see it the same way for herself? You are taking care of your responsibility by providing the nutrients to the baby with your body as a woman. That is your job, right? Who's picking up the slack for your provider husband?
Well, keep in mind she doesn't have another baby. She's saying this is why she didn't want to have any more babies or anything
Right,
like
right.
that. Now, when she's talking about this marriage, she already has a child from a previous relationship, and this dude took on the stepfather role. She lost her job, which was, you might want to check out the replay for that. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but basically she accepted a position that it wasn't for her, and she ended up losing her job, and he pretty much picked up all of the slack. And she said, hey, he's a provider, he's able to take care of everything, you know what I'm saying? He's, because she had a son, and she's like, he's a great example of what a man in society is supposed to be like. She said he's in tune with her emotions, but he's not in tune with his own, basically meaning she can't gaslight him. I mean, there was a lot, like May's been listening. It's just, bro, this
But
shit
the
gets
thing
hard.
about it, Auntie, is that, right, like as a woman, as a modern woman, right? It's like if this man has all these great attributes and he's taking care of a child that's not his, right? Right?
Mhm.
My thing is, what is this emphasis on like emotions that a man should have or express or display that is so important to these women?
Well, she earlier, and this is the point. I don't know if May wants to chime in on this right here. I'm gonna just say this. Remember, she said that he was raised in a patriarchal environment, and I guess military. His father was in the military and all of that other stuff. But she says she equates patriarchy to racism. Yeah,
But
and
it's crazy.
yeah, pretty much.
But
A man,
here's
a
the
man
but
structure and order is bad, or any
yeah,
structure and order. I mean, according to her, any structure and order for that matter is bad. Um,
but May, can I ask May a question, Auntie?
yeah.
May,
Yeah.
here's the problem that a lot of us have, because see, a lot of us get put in like a manosphere red pill category. Men who like hate women because we have these we kind of like reveal these contradictions, right? Now
Hmm.
the thing is, I love women, right?
Hmm.
But when it comes to this type of mentality, I'm known in this space to kind of go against it and to kind of like reveal the delusional aspects of it. And so I've been targeted as a person who hates black women and all that when that's not the case. But what I wanted to ask you is what why can't she see the contradiction, right? Because Auntie just said that she equates patriarchy to racism, but
She
then
said.
she
She said that,
essentially,
bro.
yeah. I'm saying that you said she said that, right?
Yeah.
Auntie said she said that, right? So my thing is, but then at the same time, in the same breath, May, she exhibited attributes that the man had about being a provider and like gave examples of him
Hmm.
stepping up and picking up the slack, and that's all under like the patriarchal structure, all those attributes that she illustrated that the man has.
Absolutely.
So does she just not is she being like purposely aloof, or is she just not like understanding that that's where those attributes come from, which is the patriarchal system?
Well, yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I'm glad you brought it up. We were talking about that earlier. She wants to pick and choose. So she wants him to be a patriarch when it benefits her. And anything that is patriarchy, like the fact that he told her he don't want her to take a risk and drive some motorbike and, possibly get hurt. And he wants to protect her by preventing her from doing that. And she don't want to accept that. But that's a form of protection, and that comes with patriarchy. You say you want to be protected, And this is a form of protection. I'm trying to tell you not to do something as advice so you don't hurt yourself because that's my job. But you don't want me to do that. So she wants to pick and choose. Like he's supposed to be a provider, right? She wants that. But then when it's like, but in exchange for being a provider, I'm gonna need to make sure that you cook. I expect this, I expect that. She's like, no. So she pretty much just wants to be a child, with no responsibility. That's what we've come to the conclusion of. And so when you have women that say, I like patriarchy in this way, but they don't want to call it patriarchy. They just call it that's pouring into me. That's what she calls it, right, Auntie? Pouring into me. We call that pouring into. You're pouring into me. No, that's patriarchy, actually.
Because
You
I'm gonna
just want to.
be
Yeah.
100, man. I'm like, yo, her dude is a better dude than me, bro. Because, dog, I couldn't have tolerated her at all.
Yo,
Like,
but Auntie,
like, bro, no, and I'm gonna tell you, and I'll break it down real simple. She had to ask him for a divorce. If it was me as her dude, she wouldn't have had to ask me for no motherfucking divorce at
You had the
all.
paperwork. You had the paperwork.
Yeah. If I would have fucked up and
Yo.
got into that shit in the first place, it's like, yeah, she would have got served. I wouldn't even have been like, she would have been able to figure that shit out 2 months before she got served with the paperwork because I wouldn't have been
yo,
home.
Auntie, I can, Auntie, I can envision the video. Look at this bitch. You do the video.
Like, I wouldn't. I couldn't
Ask me
even
for a divorce.
I couldn't go to sleep next to and wake up next to this chick. I would have lost my shit.
But hey, May. See, here's the thing that I think that a lot of these types of
And
like
that
women
shit,
with this,
she's all over the fucking place, bro. And it's
right,
like,
right.
I understand like that shit is contagious. So any woman that I'm with, and I understand a lot of women are like that, but any woman I'm with, I can't do that shit because our shit's gonna fall apart. And when she's talking about like she lost her job and this is her situation when she came in there and shit like that, it's like I got a clear example of how I can end up if I subscribe to that shit. Or how we're gonna end up. If we subscribe to your method of living life, we are gonna end up like you. And I can't allow that. So I got to go. Like, no, but fact, you got to go. Like, you got to go.
Yeah, but another thing,
it's not a joke. Please leave. Type shit.
Yeah. No, but another thing, right, May? I think that sometimes these women have a lot of preconceived notions about men and the patriarchy.
Bro.
Oh. No, I was gonna say, but May, I think that a lot of these types of women have they have preconceived notions about how men protect in the patriarchy. Like, for example, right? Like the example you used about the motorcycle, he thinks it's unsafe, so don't do it, right? There's others, like I'm the type of man who will have the exact same opinion, especially if I know her personally. Oh, she's gonna hurt herself. But since I know it's something she wants to do, I will let her know, listen, the only way that I'm allow you to do this in this relationship, right, is if I'm doing it with you and you follow my lead. So you know what? We're gonna buy a bike. We'll buy 2 bikes, and the only way we'll go on a road trip, but I have to be present with you there. Because see, I'm not the type of guy who's gonna try to like stop a person and any person from pursuing like their ambitions or living the dream that they want to live. But it's gonna be under my protection. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do it. You feel me? So she's like creating these scenarios in her head. Now maybe her man, his way of protecting is no, you're not doing that. We're just not going to get involved in that, right? But that's not every man, right? But at the same time, even though it's not every man, protection is gonna come for our women from us in whichever way, individually, uniquely that we see fit.
Okay, so here's what's up, right? You missed this part. She explained a lot more than that. Like she even explained how after she lost her job, you know what I'm saying, she stay at home all of the time. He just wanted to spend time with her after work, after he gets off of work, because he's paying the bills and stuff like that. But he'd also, expect her to cook and stuff like that. And she's like, nah, she don't want to have to cook at an allotted time. Okay, and then she doesn't want to have to just spend time with him, like quality time with her man, watching TV. And she even explained like, hey, He was like, okay, you don't want to cook, I'll cook. You just clean up. And she's like, nah, I don't want to do that shit neither. Like, pretty much anything you think I should do, I don't want to do it. That's pretty much what she said. Correct me if I'm wrong, man.
Nah, that's what it sounds like. And then she's also complicating things because don't forget, her messing up, losing her job is how they end up with one vehicle.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to make a way so that she can keep the vehicle or a vehicle and that little roadster or whatever little motorcycle. That's supposed to be for him to be able to get around. It wasn't for her, but she wanted to take over that too. And she created all of that. And she had kept her job, she wouldn't have lost the car. She wouldn't have lost her car. And then they wouldn't even be at the motorcycle. So she's a problem that keeps giving, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. And the sad
Yeah,
thing is
but
she's
like after she lost her job, because she said the issue wasn't even like doing shit after he gets off work. The issue was she doesn't want to go back into corporate America at all because there are deadlines she got to hit, there are expectations, and she likes streaming, she likes TikTok and YouTube because she just do that shit on her own fucking schedule. And he's like, yeah, but you ain't making no motherfucking money, so that shit just a hobby until you making some damn money. Those were her words pretty much. And she's like, well, I got to build it. Now, I can understand where she's coming from. Yeah, you do have to build it before it becomes profitable. Understandable. But, like you're a wife and a mother. Like that shit comes first. Like literally
And
anything else is a fucking hobby until it becomes a profession. Anything else.
right, right.
know?
And Auntie, the thing about it is the thing I wish that. Oh, I'm sorry, Auntie, did I cut you off?
No, you go ahead. You got it.
No, the thing I wish that a lot of modern women would understand too is that if there are double standards in the patriarchy, it's there for a reason, right? And the reason is it's because, May, do you think that if he would have lost his job, she would have stayed or would have just accepted him?
That's a good question. The answer is hell to the no. She'd have been like, you know
Okay.
good, you know good, you done fucked up, you don't know how to make good decisions, you unstable, you not a man. Oh, it would have been all kind of shit.
But May, how
Exactly.
they have a place to live. Like, keep in mind, because the job she had that she was bragging about in the beginning, she's like, it was a 6-figure job. It was like her dream job, but then she realized it was a sales job, and she doesn't like selling shit. Like she takes the first no for an answer. So I'm like, the fuck out of here. You had a sales job and you can't sell shit. Like, you wasn't gonna keep your job no length of time any fucking way. Like that's what it is. So yeah, if he'd have lost his job, there wouldn't have been no damn household.
And the
She
thing
would have
is
left
too,
him.
man.
She'd have definitely left him. She'd have definitely left him though.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I'm saying, right? Men have a lot more grace, right? Because we're kind of like living under this notion that, we're supposed to be supportive and we're supposed to be protectors and creating provision for women. That's the idea that patriarchy set for men to follow. So, and then like because it's such a consistent idea that we follow, I just feel like a lot of women don't even realize the benefit of it. So the reason why I want to hop on the show is because, May, I spent a lot of time debating, different people in this space. And the thing about it is, one of the main things I would debate is that there would be women who are always talking, like complaining that there aren't men who exhibit the attributes that this woman is saying that her man is exhibiting. So I would argue the fact that, yeah, there are some scum of the earth, like piece of shit type dudes out here that exist. No one's going to deny that. But relationship dynamics in 2023, 4, 5, and 6 not working isn't just due to men not having those attributes. That's what I will always say, is that because, we're in this modern time, women are already more complicated than men, but the modern times have basically exacerbated that complication when it comes to like how women like process information and how their feelings change. I'm not trying to slight women. This is not me talking. I'm just exhibiting the difference, right? I'm not saying there's something wrong with women. I'm just saying that women's feelings change. Like she's saying this now, but 5 years from now, she's probably going to regret having these thoughts and feelings, right? So what I'm saying is that I would always just preach that, you know, with autonomous women mixed with the modern times, right? It's not 100% the fault of men not having these attributes that relationships aren't working. And it was just like nobody would listen. Everybody would attack me for trying to make that point. That's why I wanted to hop on the show, because I'm like, this is an example of that.
No, it's a totally great, it's a perfect example. And she picked a really good. The woman is not evil. She's kind of innocent, right? She's not evil.
Right.
A lot of times
Yeah, I'm not done with it either. I'm gonna have to get out of here in a minute because the games are on. But yeah,
Oh,
I'm definitely not done with this. I'm gonna do a part 3.
Oh,
but
cool, cool.
but I definitely want to respond to what you said. I'm gonna say this. First of all, I got to tell you two things about me. I'm a feminist, die hard. I'm not an extremist feminist, but I am a feminist. But I demand fairness, not dunking down on men, just fairness. And
Hmm.
I still manage, because I'm a married feminist, to be a traditionalist. And I know that seems like it would conflict, but it doesn't. Um, and I do see how, I'm not a pick me either, but I do see how men are confused by women, because we are in a modern era. And let's be honest, the men are modern too, okay? We got to remember that modern men and modern women. Her man
Hmm.
is actually exhibiting modernism because he's willing to help, like pick up the slack. Men back in the day, traditional, the baby is you. I'm not touching. I'm not changing nothing. I'm not. He's willing to help cook, and willing to help clean. So men are meeting women halfway. I think that we have two extremes here. We have men who are too effeminate and they go too far, right? And they don't stand in their masculine frame, and that confuses
Hmm.
women. And then we also have women who decide they want to be more masculine than the man, and they don't know the role of the man, but they want the benefits of patriarchy at the same time, which confuses men. So it's a mixture. Absolutely, I agree with you, and I think it's on
That
both
was that
sides.
was
I
a
don't
great
like
way to
that.
explain it. That was a great
Okay,
way to explain it, man. Yeah.
No, I mean, and I would go a step further before I get back into the video. Like I would never have a problem with like that traditional feminism because just like she said, that's about fairness, equality, but equality of opportunity doesn't mean equality of outcome. It just means you
Right.
right,
get the same opportunities. So, hey, that should I don't think old school feminism should even be an issue for fucking men because that's the
Right.
same shit you've been dealing with any goddamn way. You just want shit to be on a level playing field. So handle your fucking business. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to fucking compete with women just like you had to compete with dudes any fucking way. What's the big deal? You know, made the best man or woman win because it's always been made the best man win. So what the fuck? What about it? But when you talk about the new age, quote unquote, feminism, that's when the special concessions and grading things on a curve and shit like that come into play. Like, yeah, we over here playing baseball, but when you're at bat, you want us to play softball. We can't pitch overhand. We got to pitch underhand because you're a
right,
woman. Change shit.
right.
Now, fuck that. Okay,
Well,
that's
I
it.
have a problem with that. I have a problem with that personally,
Still throwing
Auntie.
105, and I still might beam you in the back because it's part of the game plan. Are you down to
Hmm.
take that? Are you down to just take that shit to get on first base? Oh, you can't do that to me because I'm a woman. Yeah, that's that new age feminism. I'm not about because hey, we playing baseball, not softball.
Oh
And
man, that's a
that's the
great
that's the
You
analogy.
part.
understand what I'm saying?
That's that's the part, Auntie, that I had when I say fairness and stuff. I'm serious on that. Like as far
You're
as
not
if
gonna turn
if
our
I'm supposed
you're
to
not gonna
carry
turn our
10,
baseball game into a softball game just because
right.
you're a woman.
That's what I'm talking about.
Way
I
too
want my
far.
fairness. If I want to carry the 10, if y'all are carrying 10-pound balls, I want my 10-pound ball. Don't give me no 5-pound ball.
That's all I'm saying. And don't try to tell me I got to carry a 10-pound ball, but all you got to carry is a 5-pound ball because you're a woman, and now all of a sudden that's fair. No, that's
Right.
not fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially
Exactly.
if you're getting paid the same. Especially if you're getting paid the same.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So that's
Absolutely.
why even when they brought up that shit where I guess it was the shit Trump said, do you think women should get paid the same amount as men? I agree with Trump's answer to that. Like, look, yeah, if she does the same job and gets the same results as men, absolutely she should get paid the same. You know,
That's
Right.
equality.
and
Yes,
if
that's
she gets
equality.
better
Yes.
results, she should get more. Like that is what it is. Not because she's a woman, but because she's just more productive. Anybody that's more productive should get more, you know what I'm saying? You should get better results. But equality means, you know what I'm saying? That means equality of opportunity, but equality of outcome, that's always going to vary based on a lot of different things. You know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And
Some people
it's
some people are going to be stronger. Some people are going to be faster. Some people are going to be prettier. Some people, some people are just going to be luckier. Like that's fucking life. That's life. But you can't expect us to change the rules of the game, just because you're a woman. If you
Yeah.
want
and
to,
you know what? I think that too. I've been really like horrifically misunderstood in this space. I would fight in a war for women's rights. I've always been against this new age feminism where it's blended with misandry and not also revealing some of the wishy-washy nature of some what I like to call modern women. Not all women, but just women who kind of like her who don't understand that it's because of your wishy-washy thinking and emotions that a man has to have structure. And if you can't accept that structure, right, then you're gonna it's gonna be baby daddy number two.
well,
You feel
I
me?
would go a step further and say everybody needs some kind of structure. Society will fall apart without it. So even based on what she's saying, like she needs structure. You know, everybody fucking needs structure. With
Everybody does,
you,
yeah.
without it, shit falls apart. So all of that, I'll just do what I want to do. No, you can't do what you want to do, especially when you ain't got no sense of damn direction. But she's
And
like, hey, I
especially
should still be able to do what I want, and there should be no scrutiny or anything like that. And it's like, okay, but marriage definitely isn't for you. That
Right.
was my point with this. Like, marriage definitely isn't for you. You need to stay with your damn father. And back, I'm not even gonna say back in the day because this is long before I was living. They would call this woman an old maid. Like, you're gonna be an old maid. And to be honest, most women that had this mentality and move like this, they wouldn't even have a child to begin with. They wouldn't have a child to begin with. They never would have got out of their parents' house.
and I would like to also add this too, right? I think that it's so, and then this is not to demonize her, right? Because even though we disagree with her output, at the end of the day, she's trying to figure it out. The
Well, I got
issue
all
is that,
I have all the appreciation in the world for her honesty.
right, right, right. And because I think her honesty like helps kind of like show where we need to fix things as a community. Because I feel like if you have one or two of hers, it's all right. But if it's widespread black populace, right, that's an issue because we also have to consider, and I'm not going to go around, I'm going to end it here because I know you said you wanted to watch the game, Auntie, but if we also have to consider that we're also in a competition, guys. We are, whether we want to like uh deny it or not, we're
Who's
competing with
competing?
we're competing with other demographics in the country,
Oh,
like other groups. We're competing with them. And that's why there's always a track record of how much money is distributed and taken out of the black community every year, right? Compared to other demographics. And I just feel like, with all these other demographics having these like two parent households and all that, sending their kids to college and stuff like that, I just feel like we need to like kind of nip this in the bud and try to find a solution to this issue. Because if there's a lot of hers, and I don't even know, but the children are more important than her confusion, bro. Or the man's ability or inability to lead. It's like the black kids that's coming in the next generations, they don't need to be under this like wishy-washy sort of environment. I mean, am I
well,
lying about that, Auntie?
I would like to just say this real quick in response to you. I think it's actually resolving itself. The manosphere as well as the extra boss bitch stuff. That culture is actually helping weed that out. If you think about it. Because a lot of
Wow.
these boss bitches, they're the women that would have had 4 or 5 kids and ran through a bunch of different men. A lot of them would have been. But now they got something to hang on to. I'm gonna be a boss bitch, and I'm child free, and that those women are attracted to that because it's social media, savvy, and it's hot, it's a thing. I think that's good because it's helping to weed out. And I'm really about like not seeing kids. I'm a former teacher. I don't like seeing kids drawn into adults' problems, and they're just like the
Mm-hmm.
byproduct, you know. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
that your concern is like for real, because them kids be fucked up. They be fucked up when they just the result of a happy night, you know. And the two adults then they hate each other, and now the child is here. He don't know why he's here. Nobody cares. Just like that little boy, she didn't toss her son off to his dad. You know, he's just something to move around on the chest. And then also the manosphere has been excellent at helping men be real clear on. I mean, I hate the manosphere honestly, because I think it has a lot of negative. Yeah, they say a
Yeah.
lot of negative, fucked up shit, a lot of coping.
Mm-hmm.
But the one good thing about it is it made men have an opportunity, not made, but it gave men an opportunity to actually have discussions about what they like and don't like. Now, the ones that's still grumbling and crying and coping, a lot of them are incels. But I think that genuine men had genuine conversations and some clarity about what they are, what they're not. They redefine their own versions of masculinity. Some of it's toxic, some of it's healthy. But yeah, those men who are saying, I don't want a woman, they're clear. And so there's going to be less children produced, for sure.
No doubt. Let me get back into this.
Because I realized every day as he came home and I had to go cook, I used to love cooking, and it's just like it's a chore now, but I would do it for his pleasure, not for my own. I would watch TV, even though I did have joy watching TV with him and the shows were interesting. But if he weren't there, would I be doing that? I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be doing that. And so at the end of the day, I was watching TV for his pleasure, not my own. Or, you know, if I'm on this internet and I say something, I would be I am as of this moment less controversial because I don't want anything to negatively fall back on my husband and then that fall on his job, which is my way that I am currently living. If you have a partner, you are beholden to that person. Like my best friend lives in Ghana and I've been wanting to go to Africa for basically my whole life, and she's there till April and she has a place that I can go and I can stay, and I almost said no to going because I have a husband, and I was like, if I can't bring my husband and my kid, then I can't go. And I'm like, this is my best friend in the whole world that I've been best friends with for when we 2008, so almost 10 years now. Like I knew her before I knew my husband, and is my best friend, and I cannot go see her because I felt like as a wife I wasn't supposed to travel abroad for fun without my husband and my kid. And it was because he hasn't been to Africa and I haven't been to Africa, and we both want to go to Africa, and we wanted our first time to be together, but it's like I only wanted that because you're my husband, but before that, I wanted to go by myself regardless. So being with someone, it shifts your goals and it limits them. Like I can go so many places as a single person, but as a couple or a family, your mobility is so limited because you need so much more money, you need so much more space. Like you can't just crash on someone's couch and then oh, can my husband and my child crash as well? Like no, you need to go get a hotel, you need to go, get an Airbnb, you need to go figure out a place where all of you can go, because nobody wants to support a family. People barely want to support a single person, but to support a family, no one's going to do that. And so I can't starve. Like again, it's like.
Did you pause it? Oh my god.
Auntie, I want to call bullshit, and no bullshit on that. She's just coming up with another excuse. She's coming up with a whole nother
Like
excuse.
the only people that'll say, "Hey, you can crash on the couch, but your husband and your kid can't," are dudes or motherfuckers that want to screw you.
Exactly.
But the reality is that when you're married and you have certain ambitions you want, where did you hear that you could not travel alone,
Exactly.
or that you can take turns? Like
It's a May. Listen, it's literally a conversation. It doesn't sound like her man is an asshole. It does, from everything she said about him. He would be a complete. Listen, yeah, I need to maybe be introduced to your friend out there, to your female friend. I need to be introduced to her. I need to know who she is, right? Let me talk to her. Let me understand what the plans are, where you guys are gonna be, right? I need a form of contact so that I can know, who to contact, and maybe if something happens to you, I know where to start looking for you.
Right,
This is
right.
just all a conversation. But if you are my wife and you've had this friend, I forgot how long she said she had a friend for, years, right? This is your close friend of years. You can go. A man, you having a family is not stopping you from that. So that's why when May say I call bullshit on it, I agree, because it's literally just a conversation, and based on based on what she was saying about her man, I don't think he would have a problem with that. Now, why it's bullshit is because it's ulterior motives she has. That's what it really. I think she just want to get bust down there. That's what it
Ah!
is.
She's actually going to admit that in a moment too.
Are you
Uh-oh.
serious? Are you serious, bro?
Yeah, we got to get through it. Spoiler alert, but yeah.
Oh, but hey, Auntie, I'm so sorry. I got to bounce, bro. But thank you so much. But maybe I'll be back for part 3. But I love you, bro. I got a lot of love for
Yeah.
you, man. I think that you're a super talented Auntie. Thank you so much, May, for having this discussion. I like the way you think.
I said that
Sure.
when I was listening in the beginning, to be honest. When Brenda messaged me and said that she was going to do this and she was explaining this situation, I was like, sounds like, you know what I'm saying, she just really just she doesn't like the fact that when she's approached or dudes try to hit on her, she's got to tell the motherfucker she married. That's
Yeah.
really what it sounds like. That's the only reason I could think of why you would divorce your perfect husband. Not because he's perfect or you don't like the only part of the situation is the fact that you got to tell other motherfuckers that your ass is married.
Yeah.
You don't like
What's
that.
your name, sir? What's your name?
Oh, it's I go by Dark Lake on here.
Dark Lake. Oh, okay. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, May. Thank you so much. God bless, Auntie. Peace.
All right, Dark Lake, man. Appreciate you, fam. Yeah. But yeah, I agree.
Auntie, I know she's full of shit because, like, in my situation, like, my husband and I both are solo travelers. We've been traveling together, and my husband just came back. He went to Korea, back to back. He just got back tonight. Korea, then he went to Thailand, and then he went to Cambodia, and then Tokyo. And he came back, and he's been gone for like a week. And ain't nothing. It's fun. I'm glad. You need a break. You deserve it. Like, what's the big deal? Just travel. Why do people do this in marriage? Like, you can't be married and do it's just stupid. Stupid.
If I'm traveling and I can't afford food, I'm just like, all right, it's cool. I'm not going to eat. That's fine. Or I'll get something very small. I can't do that if
Shout out
I'm
to
out
Dark Lake.
with my kid and my husband.
Appreciate that, big dog.
I have to plan ahead. You have to think ahead. There's so much that goes into being a wife and a mother all at once. Because for the longest time, I was a single mom. And so it was easy to, either send my kid off to his dad or send him off to my dad or like a family. Like I can get rid of my kid pretty easily in order to then move as a sovereign entity, but then always got to come back for your kid though. But, it still wasn't, I didn't feel as limited when I was a single mom because it was like I could get rid of my kid and then I'd be a single woman. But as a wife, I cannot do that. And that's another thing is a lot I do understand that men like beautiful women, and I identify as a beautiful woman, and I have used that to my advantage before. But to get free things, get into free places, there are benefits to utilizing your looks, but I can't do that when I am a wife. I cannot flirt with other men.
I knew that part was coming, man.
Ooh wee. Ooh wee.
I'm gonna spin it back for you. But yeah, hey, Bridget, yeah, there you go. It's like just call a spade a spade. Keon say, identify as a beautiful. And don't get me wrong, she. I mean, for at least from the bust up, she's an attractive woman, no doubt. But trust me, this shit would have got real ugly to me. I ain't gonna lie, like real ugly. Like this is some post nut clarity right here, real shit.
Into free places, there are benefits to utilizing your looks, but I can't do that when I am a wife. I cannot flirt with other men. Not that again, this is not out of I want to this is not I don't want these men. But do I want what these men can give me access to? Sure. But I, as someone who respects my marriage, respects the sanctity of marriage, I would never do that with a husband. But so it's a benefit that I'm like looking forward to acquiring back, is being able to be a single woman and give men the perception that they might have a chance, so that I can get whatever I need or want in that moment. Yeah, it's just,
Wow.
there are so many things. There are so
Which is why she's listening to strippers and ex-strippers about, you know what I'm saying, how to handle men. That's what the
Wow.
fuck it is.
That's cringe. What she just all that stuff she just said, that is so cringe. It is so cringe. You know how it must, I mean, imagine
It
how that must make her
is.
husband feel. The husband, the ex-husband. Imagine if he heard her say this.
I
Like,
mean, yeah.
everything I did is trash. All
Hey,
of
hey,
my efforts to love
shout
you is
out to the
trash.
baby. Hey, May, shout out to the baby daddy who she referred to as a narcissist and just took his fucking baby boy. And whatever. Fuck it. Do you. I got the kid. Go. Just go. You know,
Oh man.
I'll be a narcissist. Just give me my baby. You go. You go ho. You go ho.
And
You
like I
go
said before,
304.
if she had wanted this from day one and she didn't bring anybody else into it, it would have been fine. But you got two whole men and a little boy that you dragged into your net of chaos. That's the part. That part. That's crazy.
I
That's
told you,
crazy.
Bridget, wait for it. Wait for it. Everything that glitters ain't gold. But see, that beginning, that's the part that you hear in these conversations on these fucking panels. You know, because people are able to hide behind each other on an 8-9 person fucking panel. But when somebody just speaks, like Bree is speaking, like Bree speaks is speaking for an hour and a half, everything just comes out.
And the sad thing is, Auntie, she's not even an evil person. She's not evil at all.
I wouldn't even use that word to describe her.
No, but a lot of
Yeah,
times you think of some angry, bitter, all that stuff.
yeah.
She's not angry. She's not bitter. She's not trying to get off on nobody or do any harm. And that's the part. She's
Definitely
so
trying to get
innocent.
off. She's trying to get off. She just ain't
No,
trying to
no.
get over.
Yeah, get over. She's
She ain't
not like,
trying to
yeah,
get
I'm gonna hook
over,
you
but
up.
she down to get
Right.
off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And if she was, and the thing is, I'm gonna say this. I gotta get going and real quick. I gotta get going. But I will say this: she's feeling how she's feeling right now. But see, she's not thinking about the future. Right now, while she's cute like this, and she's 30, but she's not thinking, are you still gonna have that magic that you think you don't depend on? All this special magic you think you have. And I'm not saying anything about older women, but it changes because now that there are 20-year-old women and 30-year-old women, and you're 45 and you're 50, you don't get that magic forever. You don't. And she's not thinking about that. She's just thinking about right now.
Mm. And again, let me give a shout out to Big Brenda for even finding this video. I wouldn't have found it otherwise, but because I found that, I actually found some reviews. So that's going to be the part 2. Because I know people are trying to equate this to women. Now, I already know. I could judge by the comments in Big Brenda's chat and even the comments in my chat today. And when I read the comment thread on her video, and then there were reactions that came from this video right here. Nah, man, all women ain't like this, man. You know, like that, they're like, yo, you out of your fucking mind. Like, you out of your fucking mind. You know how tough it
Yeah,
is to find, like, a lot of women are like, you know how tough it is to find a good fucking dude?
right. All right, I'm gonna drop
Like,
down. Appreciate you.
no, thank you so much, May. I appreciate you. I'm gonna get out of here in about 10 minutes or so. But yeah, this was definitely a good one.
many things that your
Shout out
friends,
to
they
May.
don't come over
Shout
and
out
you're
to May the Alchemist, and shout out to Dark Lake too, man. I appreciate the super chat, Dark Lake, man. Thank you so much. And shout out to May for coming up here, giving us a little commentary with that. Y'all feel free to come back. Hit me up on IG if you want to do the review for part 3, with me when it comes to this. Definitely.
as much as they used to whenever you are a married person, because once you become married, like you like especially married with a
To be honest, this review shouldn't even have been a live stream. I'm probably gonna have to pre-record a review for this and edit it so that way we get to all the good. Because she said a whole lot that can be like annoying. I just wanted to review it with you guys in real time, without anything being sped up or edited, so that you can see the Let me use the right word. The not necessarily the evolution. Well, matter of fact, yes, the evolution and the illumination. Like, because like what's in the dark come to light. Like, these people have come up here calling everybody else a narcissist and pointing fingers and patriarchy and all of this shit. And y'all can pretty much listen and be like, Shorty, you're the fucked up one. Like, you're the fucked up one here.
kid. It's like this box. It's like this box comes over you guys' home, whereas like no one's allowed, no one's invited. It's like people can be invited, but I used to throw parties in my house probably like once every 2 months. Honestly, like probably like 6 parties a year, once every 2 months. It was St. Patrick's Day. Oh, I'm having a St. Patrick's Day party. Valentine's Day, I'm having a Valentine's Day party. April Fool's Day, having an April Fool's party. Like any random excuse at all that I had that I wanted, I was inviting my friends over to do something because I just enjoyed their company. I enjoyed being with the people that I loved and care about. But since I've been married, I've had, I think, 2 parties. It's like in the 3 years that we've been together, totally 2022. Yeah, in the 3 years that we're together, I think I've had maybe 3 parties, maybe 1 party a year. 1 party a year. And one of those parties was the engagement party that he threw. And then, 2 of them were holiday parties that were really just like family. It wasn't really my friends. It was just family, which is nothing wrong with that. But it's just like, I miss my friends. I miss my friends. I miss my friends. And I know someone's like, oh, Bree, you can do all these things while being married. And my husband has been saying that. And I've been trying to think through, how can I have everything that I want? This complete and true sovereignty, because that's what I'm looking for. If you look up the word sovereign, because that's the word that keeps coming to my mind. The word sovereign means a supreme ruler, especially a monarch, or possessing supreme or ultimate power over myself. That is what I want. I want to be a sovereign being who has ultimate power, authority, and self-rule, acting as the ultimate source of control in their own life, free from external domination, often involving taking ownership of one's choices, spiritual connection, and inner guidance, rather than being controlled by others or circumstances. That is what it says, to be a sovereign being. And that is what I want. I want to be a sovereign being. I want to make every single choice in my life to be a choice that I made by myself, for myself, with my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own intuition. I want ultimate control. I don't want to have to run my thoughts past anyone. I don't want to have to say, hey, babe, I'll be home late tonight. Or, hey, yeah, I'm sleeping over Christy's house tonight. Or telling Christy, I can't sleep over tonight. I have to go home to my husband. Like, I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to do any of that. And it's like I said, it's like, it's not that and it's like, these are all things that I thought.
See, and this is my point, right? Yeah, cool. Be a sovereign being, make all of the decisions. But don't think that your decisions are supposed to affect my life or my kid's life or any of that shit. Like, nah. You can make decisions for you, but you can't make decisions for me. And that's the problem that she has with patriarchy, is that she doesn't just want to make decisions for herself. She want to make decisions for other motherfuckers too. She thinks people like her should be making decisions for everybody. That's a problem. That's a problem. You can make decisions for yourself, but then you go live under that fucking bridge by yourself. No, you still want food in your refrigerator. You still want a roof over your head. You still want internet access. You still want nice clothes. You still want access to good medicine and healthcare and all of that shit. Nah, because of that, you're either going to have to, number one, make better decisions, or number two, if you can't make better decisions and you still want that shit, you're going to have to relinquish the decision-making duties to somebody else. You're not capable. You're not equipped. You're all over the place. But don't worry. I got you. That's where her man came into play. The dude that married her is like, don't worry. Yeah, you're fucked up, but I got you. I got you. I'll come behind you with a mop and bucket. And she was like, fuck that. Fuck that. You got too many provisions.
I wanted. That's the kicker. That's the kicker. That's the worst part, is like, I feel so bad that I have dated this wonderful human. I've loved him. He's loved me back. And we built this.
I love when people use that term like that's the kicker. Look, I'm a poker player and I understand what the kicker means. The kicker only comes into play when two people have the same fucking pair, and then the kicker comes into play. The kicker is the determining factor between winning and losing. That's a big deal. So she just mentioned the kicker as if the kicker doesn't matter. No, the kicker matters. If I got a pair of aces, you got a pair of aces. What's your kicker? My kicker's a king. Your kicker's a deuce. That's it. You lose. The kicker means something. Yeah, that shit sounded good rolling off your tongue, but you know what the kicker actually means? The kicker is the difference between winning and losing.
Dream life together just for me to get everything I've ever wanted and then say, actually, I don't want this. I haven't told, as of the recording of this video, I haven't told anyone except my husband. We've had this discussion, but I know whenever I tell my friends who are all looking for husbands, they're going to tell me I'm nuts for essentially throwing away a good one. When I tell my family, they're going to think I'm crazy. When I tell his family, because I love his family's amazing, I don't know if everyone's going to hate me. I don't think people will understand. I don't think people are going to understand this decision. We could have had a really good life together, but that's not the life that I want. I know exactly what the life was that I signed up for and that I would have had. It would have been, we would have stayed together. I would have kept, making dinner and watching TV. We would have eventually had a kid. The kid would sign that kid up for school. I would have been in all kinds of school stuff. The kid, we may or may not we may or may not would have had to flee the country due to the current administration's attack on Black and brown people. But, if that didn't happen, it would have been a relatively eventless life. Like, I'm writing this book and I eventually would have finished it, and that probably would have been my biggest accomplishment. But outside of that, I don't think I would have done much with my life. And writing a book is a big deal. And so, but it's like, if I ever had finished it, I have not finished it. And I've been working on it for the last 3 years, right? I was working on it at least a year before I met my husband. So has it been 4 years? Maybe. So I was working on it before him, but I do feel like since I've been in a relationship, my pace for writing that book has slowed tremendously. And this is without us having a newborn child. I knew the moment I had that child, that book was it wasn't going to be finished till that child was 18. Essentially, that book would not have been finished till that child was 18. So I was trying to get this book finished before we decided to have kids. But then that also started coming in with the thoughts of, wow, once I have a kid, it's going to be so much work. And I don't think my husband, although he wants a kid and he was willing to do all the work, I don't think he understands how much work a child needs, as someone who doesn't have a child himself. And I don't think he realizes how much work a mother has to do. Like, just has to do, because if I have a kid, I'm going to breastfeed. It's almost non-negotiable. And it's just like, and then I want to be in my child's life, because we've discussed, like, maybe we could have a kid, stay married, and then I still travel the world. But I'm like, so you want me to be a deadbeat mother? You want me to have a kid and then leave them? Like, that's narcissistic. Hey, that is narcissistic. That is, you were having a child for yourself.
Yeah, I guess I got to end it right here. I do want to get into where she says she's going to move back in with her father. That's basically what she says. Spoiler alert. But she's like, that's narcissistic because she's like, he wanted to have more children, but she still wants to travel the world. So she's like, oh, so you want me to be a deadbeat mother? You know, because if I travel the world and I leave my kid with you, that would make me a deadbeat mother. He's like I never said that. Like, I just wanted to have some goddamn kids, and you talking about traveling the world. So in that case, you got to make a choice. You can't have it all. And that's what I think she believes is, hey, you can have every fucking thing. Like, that's it. You know? You can have it all. You can have whatever you want. You can have it whenever you want. You know, that's pretty much where she's trying to go with that. On that note, I do have to get up out of here. You know, right now, this was a cool one. I will be doing a part 3. I'll likely schedule that. I don't know if I'll be scheduling it tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow night. You know, not sure. You know, got to check out the playoffs. But yeah, this was, yeah, just that statement is gaslighting. Matter of fact, let me spin it back so you guys can hear it.
And then I'm to do. I don't know. I don't think he understands how much work a child needs, as someone who doesn't have a child himself. And I don't think he realizes how much work a mother has to do. Like, just has to do, because I'm going to, if I have a kid, I'm going to breastfeed. It's almost non-negotiable. And it's just like, and then I want to be in my child's life, because we've discussed, like, you know, maybe we could have a kid, stay married, and then I still travel the world. But I'm like, so you want me to be a deadbeat mother? You want me to have a kid and then leave them? Like, that's narcissistic. Hey, that is narcissistic. That is,
now notice, he's a narcissist. He's narcissistic because of what she wants to do. Wild shit. Like, that's wild shit. Like, you heard that. He never told you to travel the world or any of that shit. You're like, well, if I travel the world and I have a kid, like, you want me to leave? Like, that's narcissist. Like, people just throw that fucking word around. It is some serious crazy shit. But hey, shout out to Dark Lake. Shout out to everybody, man. May the Alchemist, man, coming up. Definitely deep shit. Appreciate you, Bridget. You know what I'm saying? Keon. Everybody else came through. Gas Mask, Cynical One. You know, Music Man, Dollar Washer, man. Appreciate you. I know I saw some comments on the stream we did earlier. Yo, man, deep shit, man. I got to get up out of here. Definitely a pleasure hanging with everybody. I'll be back. Y'all can go back and you can find all types of videos about relationships, but it's gonna be bullshit, minuscule shit, man. We're gonna break it down, you know what I'm saying? Real, raw, all of that shit. And just to be honest, the people that be in them, even the people that be married, be the most delusional motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, on this bitch. Like, that's what it is. So when these people try to tell you that oh, you try to get married and that's the end game, and go, no. That is the beginning. That is not the end all be all. You know? So if you're not ready to be a husband, if you're not ready to be a wife, and you're not willing to go through and put in the work to do that shit, don't do it. Don't do it. You're likely going to create more harm than good. Like I said, on that note, man, I got to get all the way up out of here, man. It was definitely a pleasure. Y'all make sure that you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're not already following me on Twitch, please make sure that you follow me on Twitch, for the home of the official YT Purge and Tease the Boiler Room. I am out of here, man. Y'all have a good night, man. Peace.